What is going on, everybody? This is Todd Brown. Super jacked to be with you guys and gals tonight. Before we get rocking and rolling, because we have an incredible amount of content, and so I'm just super jacked to bring this to you and to really kind of kick off this program and kick off the next handful of weeks. By the end of this training program, your marketing chops are going to be second to none. And not only that, but your ability to just outmaneuver your competitors is going to be insane. And so I'm jacked about tonight to give you a rock solid foundation for everything else that we're going to be doing and everything else that I'm going to be sharing with you. First and foremost, go ahead and just let me know, type into the little GoToWebinar box that you can hear me a-okay, that the audio is coming through loud and clear, and also let me know where you are from. Just love to see where folks are hopping on from, and so go ahead and just let me know right in the GoToWebinar box that you can hear me, that the audio is cool, and so awesome. So we've got Mark. Cool. Mark from Phoenix. Awesome, man. Welcome, Mark. We've got Chris from Maryland. We got my boy James from Newport Beach. What's shaking, dude? We've got Carl from Orange County, California. Very cool. We've got David from Fredericksburg, Virginia, man. Awesome. Wow, we got Casper from Denmark. Welcome, man. That's awesome. Denmark, that's cool. Massachusetts, Maria, welcome. Let me see. We've got Matt from Vancouver. What's up, Matt? We've got, let me see if hopefully I'll pronounce this correctly. Runar. I so apologize if I messed that up. From Norway. That is awesome. And Susan from Seattle-ish. I like that. From Seattle-ish. We've got Graham from Auckland, New Zealand, Friday, 10 a.m. My gosh, that's awesome. Mark, welcome, dude, from Dallas. We've got Wayne from South Australia. That is awesome. We got my boy Chris Cole in the house from Kansas. Chris Cole is somebody who I talk to clients about often. We've got Noel, also from Australia. Welcome. We've got, let me see, Parmi from the UK. We've got Roger from Oregon. We got Chatty from Orange County. Wow, man, this is awesome. Tim from Edmonton. We've got Shane from Vancouver. Just awesome. Awesome. Welcome to everybody. So get excited. Of course, as you know, you're in for a tremendous treat over the next handful of weeks together. What this is all about, this Masterclass series is all about equipping you with the knowledge, the understanding, and the tools and the know-how to be able to jack up conversions throughout any funnel, your entire funnel. Regardless of what funnel model you're using, regardless of whether you're starting from scratch with a funnel, regardless of what it is that you are providing in terms of your product, by the end of our time together, like I said, you are going to be a freaking master. And the reality is, what I want you guys and gals to fully understand about this Masterclass series, really about the Smart Funnel Formula training program, is that this is really all about you guys and gals being early adopters. Like smart funnel technology, smart funnel strategies, if you will, is just on the cusp of blowing up online, right? And so it's not if marketers are going to begin to use these strategies and tactics and technologies. It's only a matter of when, which means that you guys and gals get a massive leap ahead of competitors, ahead of everybody else. And so, yeah, I'm just super jacked for you. And so let me see here. So Of course, I already said welcome. I want to rock because we've got a bunch of content that I'm going to share with you tonight. I'm going to share with you, I'll get to that in just a second. A couple housekeeping items. So very quickly, and you guys and gals are going to get a copy of the recording. You're going to get a copy of the recordings from all the sessions, obviously. You're going to get this tomorrow with access to the portal. And so you don't have to write these dates down, but I just wanted you to be aware of the different dates associated with the Masterclass training schedule. So you know that all of the main sessions are on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. You guys will get the day before, you'll get access to RSVP. Even if you don't RSVP, you'll still get an email the day of with a direct link like you should have just received, bringing you to each session. As well, you'll see the dates here for the different bonus sessions. Now, the different bonus sessions are, as you know, designed to give you, it's not a mistake, Chatty. So they're on the same day, just because I didn't want you to have to wait to get both of those bonus sessions. Like, I want to give you the training from the developers on these two applications, which I'm going to tell you about in just a little bit. You guys are really getting access to those to that software bundle as we speak. But so those two bonus sessions are really all about just you guys freaking becoming masters at the use of these technologies, right? And so making sure that you guys and gals understand how to implement everything to the T, as well as, and this is really why I brought these guys in, as well as showing you the maximum potential of these applications. Because the reality is, and it was no exaggeration by any means, if anything, I downplayed it, in the video series leading up to this training, but you can literally do almost anything. Right. And so you will be able to, specifically using one of the tools, you will be able to really display any content at any time to any visitor based on any criteria. It's really crazy. And so I wanted to give you guys and gals the opportunity to take everything that I'm going to share with you up to an entirely different level based on your own creativity. Right. So you're going to see, I'm going to cover in just a little bit the main smartifying tactics that you're going to learn throughout the rest of the Masterclass series. But I wanted to give you guys and gals the opportunity to really just understand how to crank things up a notch, right? And so that's the schedule. Like I said, you'll get a copy of this will be displayed inside the training portal. The next thing that I wanted to show you was just like as an FYI, just so that you can be aware of it, that these are the release dates for the bonus content. So the Look Over My Shoulder series, the very first video, and so again, just as a reminder, the Look Over My Shoulder video series is me actually taking a real live static funnel and going in and smartifying that funnel. And while I'm doing it piece by piece, step by step, giving you the commentary that you need so that you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, why I chose that piece of marketing intelligence, and then of course most specifically the actual hands-on, down and dirty implementation of the technology. So nothing is going to be left out, right? I am personally going in and doing this for you so that by the end of that series, you will know exactly how I do it so that you can follow along and turn any static funnel into a smart funnel, regardless of the marketing model that you're currently using right now. And so that first video is, like I said, in that series starts on May 22nd. And that's because I wanted to give you the opportunity to get in our second session. Like, let me take a step back for 1 second and say this, that there are kind of two main aspects, if you will, to this training program that you're gonna find, right? The bonus sessions aside for 1 second. There are two main aspects. The first aspect is really like classroom learning, right? And that's this session. This is to make sure that, which I'm going to cover in a second, that you have a full understanding and clear framework for how to design a high conversion funnel and how the entire smartifying process works, including the matrix that I use and understanding where each piece of intelligence goes and so on. So tonight is all about making sure that you're clear on what's going to happen. And then over the next 3 sessions, session 2, session 3, and session 4, we're actually going to get down and dirty. That's kind of what you would call the lab portion, where it's hands-on. We're going to get our hands dirty. You're going to learn the nitty-gritty details of the implementation. And just as a side note, I'm totally cool with you bringing on here with you, if you work with an outsourcer, if you work with a webmaster, if you've got somebody that does the setup of your pages and whatnot, bring them on here. I'm totally cool with it. Just share with them the link that I gave, that you get, the joinwebinar.com plus the ID. Let them come on here with you for session 2, 3, and 4 so that they can see the actual nitty-gritty implementation as we do it for each of the different marketing intelligence tactics, the whole smartifying process. The second bonus is released on May 26th, and that's basically smack dab in the middle of the training program. Now, I'll tell you, Tim, everything is recorded. So every single thing that we do, every single thing that you hear from me will be and is going to be recorded. You will get access to each of the recordings, specifically for the live sessions, 24 hours after they are completed. And then you guys will get 24/7 ongoing access to the training portal. So you won't lose access to that training portal after the program is over. You'll be able to log back in and at any time go over the training materials again, reference them, and so on. So you can go through the material at your own pace. All good, no fear, you're not going to lose access to anything. But really quick, what I wanted to share with you about that second bonus is, personally, I am more jacked for that than I think I am the entire training program. I've so wanted to do a training like this, pull back the curtain, insider's peek, for so long, because I've never seen anybody really, truly give a complete A to Z behind the scenes peek of an entire big money funnel, right? And so what I'm going to be sharing with you in that training, which that training is going to be sold later on for about $2,000. Inside that training, you're going to see everything that was done in the launch funnel leading up. And I don't mean like, hey, this is the page that we use, this is the opt-in page, this is the video page, right? I'm talking about an analysis and dissection of what we did, including all the emails, including all the swipe copy for our limited partners, how we managed our limited partners, all of our split tests, the winners, the losers, and my belief on why, all of our Facebook ads, our retargeting ads, so you can understand the psychology behind what we were doing, how we were doing it, and when we were doing it, timing. And then I'm going to give you a copy, your own copy of the scripts from each of the 4 videos, and give you a total breakdown, a total dissection of the entire strategy behind the that funnel, right? What we did in each video and why it was done in each video and why the timeline was laid out the way it was, all the way down to a line-by-line dissection. This is going to be worth its weight in freaking gold for you. And so I'm super jacked about that. And so now let's start to get to it. So there are 2 objectives for today, like I kind of already mentioned. And that is that the very first objective is I'm going to give you a clear framework for the strategic design of a high conversion marketing funnel, right? I'm going to share with you the process that I use, the core process that I use when designing our own funnels, when working with high-end consulting clients, companies. I'm gonna share with you much of the stuff that I do with clients that pay $10,000 a day. I had a client yesterday that came in. I have a client next week that's coming in. I'm gonna share with you these steps that I share with them I'm even going to give you a peek into some of the content that was shared at the Big Idea Bootcamp, which was held the beginning of this year, which individuals paid 10 grand to be in attendance for. And so because no funnel training would be complete, no funnel training would be adequate in my perspective without giving you this framework. And what I'm going to share with you in the first part of our of session number 1 tonight is I'm going to share with you the process that I use that's really been responsible for me becoming known as the go-to guy for engineering wildly profitable marketing funnels. This is the reason why the other marketing funnel guys come to me when they have questions about their own funnel performance, right? And it's because this is an aspect of funnel design and creation that nobody else talks about. I believe that nobody else talks about it primarily because they have never been taught it, or they don't fully understand it, or they just feel like it's above the market's understanding. And for a majority of marketers, maybe it is. But for you, I would not be able to sleep at night if I didn't give you this stuff. So you can almost consider this a fast start training, condensed masterclass in and of itself, the first part of our session. And so that's the first objective. The second objective, as I mentioned, is to give you the knowledge and understanding of how to begin to examine a marketing process, a website, and a funnel to begin the smartifying process, right? And that's using the matrix, right? We took the matrix that I use internally. We made it pretty for you. We simplified it a little bit for you. And so you're going to have a link that you can download during the session and keep. You're going to also find a copy inside your training portal, and you're going to understand how to use that process, that matrix, to begin understanding where the smartifying process begins, right? And then of course next week we get down and dirty and we start the whole smartifying process. So exciting, cool. Is that cool? You dig it or what? You excited? So let me see here. So some questions already coming in. So will you have a private Facebook group? Probably. Yeah, we don't have any plans for that right now, but we've been talking about it, and I don't see why we wouldn't. So yes, Carlos will probably have a private Facebook group coming. I wouldn't expect that within the next day or so, but I would certainly believe that by next week, next week's session, that we'll have that up, just so that you guys and gals can begin to kind of share what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it and all that cool stuff. And so Susan asks, will you give us a brief overview of how you created the video slides, some of the best I've ever seen? Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you that right off the bat, just very quickly, that all we use internally for all of our slides we use Keynote and we use ScreenFlow on the Mac. I used to do the same thing years ago with PowerPoint and Camtasia on the PC, but now all we do is use Keynote and use ScreenFlow. More importantly, I'm going to show you the strategy and tactics at play and the triggers at play in the slides as I break down the different videos for you in the Pull Back the Curtain Insider's Peek. And so, yes, you'll totally understand why I did what I did and so on. And so thank you so much, Tim. Tim said you're hitting the ball out of the park. Love it. Chris, let me see here. Yep, there's absolutely a recording, right? So have no fear, everybody. This is designed so that you guys and gals will have ongoing access. Like I like to say, lifetime access, right? Assuming nothing happens to me. You guys will have long-term access. And so absolutely. Okay, cool. Chris says, awesome. Okay, I love it. Matt says, mind is blown. Okay, very cool. So let's get back at it and let's go at lightning pace. I'm going to strive to finish up for you by 8 o'clock. I'm going to try not to keep you guys and gals longer than 2 hours just because I want to keep your peak attention. And so let's start off, right? This is what I'm about to share with you now, right? If you got nothing else, but you got this, granted, you wouldn't know the smart technology, but you would be armed with the most powerful information that I know about designing funnels. There is nothing being held back. If while I'm going through this, because I'm going to go through this at lightning pace to try to cram it all in by 8 o'clock for you, if you've got a question, please go ahead and enter it into the box. I will wait until there are a few questions, and then I will answer them for you. Please, please, for your benefit, close down everything else. Don't look at your mobile device. Don't go on Facebook. Pay close attention, because this can be worth millions of dollars for you if you pay attention and get it. So take advantage of that. So let's talk about strategically engineering a high conversion funnel. So first and foremost, before we get into the steps of actually creating the funnel, I need to make sure that you understand the difference between marketing and selling. I know this seems foundational or elementary. Keep in mind, tonight's session is Smart Funnel Foundations, but most marketers do not understand the difference between marketing and selling. Most think of marketing and selling under the same heading, under the same activity, as if it's the same thing, and it's not. Right? That's, when marketers use sales funnel and marketing funnel interchangeably, or when they use marketing online and selling online interchangeably, it drives me crazy, because there is a tremendous difference between marketing and selling. And really what we do is we are marketers. We're not online salespeople. We are marketers that use the internet as our primary marketing medium. And so I want you to understand the difference, and then I'm going to show you how that understanding of the difference carries over to the construction and engineering of your marketing funnel. And look, I specifically chose intentionally, strategically, to call my company Marketing Funnel Automation, because that's what we're designing. We're designing marketing funnels. And you're going to see by the time that we're done with this first objective in just a little bit, you're going to understand why the funnels that are constructed this way have such a higher closing rate. I'm talking even before you even implement the marketing intelligence, before you even smartify it, you'll understand why the conversion rate is so high. And that's because it's focused on marketing, not on selling. So what is the difference between selling and marketing? Right? Well, first and foremost, selling is about your product and your offer, right? Selling is when you're talking about your product, you're talking about the product's features, you're talking about the product's benefits, you're talking about the offer, you're talking about the risk reversal proposition, you're talking about the premiums, you're talking about and providing proof about the claims that you're making about your product. When you're making claims and promises about your product and what your product does, that is selling. Marketing is all about your prospect. It's about their wants, it's about their needs, it's about their situation, it's about their problem, and it's about the ideal solution for your prospects, right? It's about your prospects. It's about their needs and their wants, not about your product. And so you're going to see in just a little bit that when I design a marketing funnel, 75% of the funnel, and you're going to see this, I'm going to break this down for you. 75% of the funnel has nothing to do with my product, my offer, my risk reversal, proof for my product, how great I am, how great the company is. 75% includes nothing about the product or offer, because 75% of the funnel is marketing. It's the 75% of the funnel that creates massive desire for the product before you even talk about the product, before you even mention the product, before you even introduce the offer. Right? And it was Peter Drucker, one of the greatest management gurus of all time, that said, and it is absolutely true, that the objective of marketing is to make selling superfluous, to make it unnecessary, right? The better the job of marketing you do, right? That first 75% of the funnel, which I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain to you how you break down your marketing funnel message in that 75%. That 75% is what makes the selling process easy and smooth. It's what allows you not to have to rely on these bogus scarcity tactics, these bogus urgency tactics, all of these these other tactics to try to pressure people into buying. See, the better the job of marketing that you do, the way I'm going to show you how to do it in the first part of our session tonight, right? The more grateful your prospects are for your offer, right? Because you bring them to the point by the end of the marketing chunk of your funnel where they want your product or service. They want the results, the outcome. They get why it is the perfect solution to their current needs, wants, problem, situation, etc. So when you offer it to them and you give them an over-the-top, superior, irresistible offer, like I'm going to talk about in just a little bit, it's a no-brainer for them. And that's why your conversions are sky high when you use this type of approach. Now, the next thing that I want you to understand before we dive in is I want you to understand the difference between a marketing funnel and simply an offer sequence. Right? And so oftentimes when I'm speaking at a conference or on a webinar or doing a live training or something like that, and I ask people in the audience to tell me what is a marketing funnel. What they almost always say is it's a low cost offer on the front. It's like an initial low cost. They might even use Ryan's terminology and say, oh, it's a tripwire offer. And then for the people who don't buy, they get an email sequence, but it's a low priced offer that then goes to a series of upsell and downsell offers. And really what they're talking about is they're simply talking about the offer sequence. Because what I want you to understand is all of that only occurs if your marketing has done its job to create a conversion, right? How could the offer sequence, the actual everything from, the order form on, right? How could that be the marketing funnel, right? When in order to get people to that stage, you have to create desire. You have to create need. You have to create the want for your product. See, so a marketing funnel is everything that gets done and said leading up to that offer sequence, right? And then the offer sequence in a front-end funnel is designed to do a number of different things. It's designed to maximize transaction value, right? So that we can afford to pump more money into traffic, more money to acquire customers, right? It's designed to reduce refunds, meaning that we propose a high conversion add-on offer after the initial product, and we know that there is an inverse correlation between the amount of people that take that first add-on offer and refund rate. Right, we know that when people take a one or more add-on offers, that the likelihood of them refunding goes down. Right, we understand that the offer sequence plays a role in prepping people for the first back-end offer. Right, because it gives us the opportunity to expose them to more of our stuff, especially if we're in the info marketing business. Right. In other words, right? Think about this. I'll sum it up with this, that who is more likely to take advantage of the first back-end offer that you present them with? The individual who has only bought your first main front-end offer in the offer sequence, or the individual who's taken advantage of that first main offer and one or two of your add-on offers? Right? Well, the reality is that especially if you're in the info product business, the individual that takes advantage of only your first main product, well, if that first main product is a low ticket product like a tripwire, they're being exposed to a very small, very minute, very narrow part of what it is that you bring to the table. Whereas for the individuals that take advantage of one or more of your add-on offers, they get to spend more time with you. They get you get to speed up the relationship building process with them. You get to further establish your credibility, authority, and expertise with them, right? And you get to further prep them, even in the content that you're providing in those offer sequence products, to prepare them more for the back end. And so the thing that I want you to begin to really understand, and the thing that I want your perspective, I want you to recognize that the marketing funnel is everything that gets said throughout the funnel leading up to the offer sequence and making sure that you've got that message strategically dialed, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. A good friend of mine, and look, there's a lot of smart, I shouldn't say a lot, there's a handful of smart marketers out there that understand, funnel creation, right? Ryan, who is a friend, Ryan Dice, digital marketer, they've got one methodology, right? Very savvy, right? Very, very savvy. My friend Russell Brunson, another individual, very savvy. But what drives me crazy, right, and this is a criticism that I would give to any of them who I have tremendous respect for in person, what drives me crazy is when they say things like, go look at, look at the pages that somebody else who is successful in your market is using and knock off their pages. Go use their pages, right? I wish it was only that simple. I wish it was the layout on the pages, the color of the bar at the top, the format of the page, the layout, the theme. I wish that was all that was responsible for conversions. But the reality is that you can have a marketer that will go and will try a tripwire offer. They'll knock off the exact page layout being used at Digital Marketer, and it'll flop for them, right? Or you can have an individual who will, let's say, see Russell do a phenomenal free plus shipping offer, and they'll go and they'll try a free plus shipping offer, same page, same layout, same colors, same everything except for the message, and they flop. Right? That they can't generate a single sale. Well, the reality is that that's because it's the marketing message. It's the strategy behind the marketing funnel message that determines your conversion rate, right? Not the layout of the page, despite what many people will lead you to believe, not how pretty your page is, but it's the quality and the strategic value behind the marketing message in the funnel. And the proof for that is it doesn't take much longer than to go over and look at Agora, any one of the divisions or franchises, if you will, for Agora Publishing, for Agora Inc. Look at what it is that they do. Look at their page layouts. And to realize that it's all about the marketing message and not necessarily about the layout. Agora is a $500 million a year information marketing behemoth, right? Publishing newsletters in the financial investing, alternative health arena. And you could see that if you compared the typical internet marketer and what the typical internet marketer does in terms of, these plugins on their site and all of these bells and whistles and all of these fancy schmancy graphics that appear here and there, you would think that Agora was left behind. Right? And maybe in some cases they are, but the reality is that if they do less than $1 million from a new promotion, it's a complete failure. It is a complete failure. And that's because they've got nailed what it is that I'm going to share with you tonight. And so, without further ado, let's get in. And for those that have been through one or more of my coaching programs before, some of this is going to be a review for you, but don't tune out because I want you to pay attention and really get this on a myopic level, if you will. So step one, and I've talked about this at great lengths, right? Step one is you got to identify your prospect's level of marketplace sophistication. Before you even think about crafting the offer, before you think about the marketing funnel message, before you think about price point, before you think about the headline, before you think about the hook or the idea behind the funnel, before you think of any of that, you have to go and identify your prospect's level of marketplace sophistication. So very quickly, what is marketplace sophistication? Well, marketplace sophistication was this idea that was popularized decades ago by legendary direct response marketer Eugene Schwartz. And he talks about it in his book, Breakthrough Advertising, which every single one of you should own and should read at least once a year. I remember hearing that from Jay, that Jay reads it once a year. Clayton Makepeace reads it once a year. Millionaire, $1 million plus per year copywriter reads it once a year. Great book, arguably the absolute best marketing book ever published, hands down, bar none. Well, Eugene Schwartz talks about this idea of marketplace sophistication. And what marketplace sophistication is, it's this progressive evolution that all prospects go through in a market, in a niche, as they are exposed to more and more claims, offers, promises, advertising messages from competitors. As they are exposed to more and more marketing messages from companies and marketers, what they respond to changes. And the type of marketing message that they respond to changes and evolves over time. So Gene Schwartz talked about 5 levels of marketplace sophistication, right? Level 1 is, and what this is about, what I want you to understand is, I'm not talking about your prospect right now. What we're really talking about is, we're talking about understanding what it is that competitors have said and are saying to your prospects, so that we know what we can and can't say in our own marketing funnel to make sure that we present something new, unique, and different to the marketplace. Right? So this is all about understanding what it is that competitors are doing and saying and how it impacts your prospects, so that we understand what type of marketing message to craft at what level of sophistication. So level 1, this is all about, think of it like this. This is all about the level of marketplace sophistication is really determined by the type of promise that your competitors are making to your prospects. Let me just take a drink real quick. So, the example that I use all the time is, at one point, there were no fat burners. You know, those supplements that you can take that speed up your metabolism, right? That get you cranking, losing weight, like my buddy Chris Cole is probably familiar with, losing weight, getting in shape, right? At one point in time, there was no fat burners on the market. And then some entrepreneur, some company came out with the first fat burner, right? Well, when they came out with that first fat burner, all they had to say was, take this pill and you'll lose weight, right? A simple, straight promise of benefit. That's it. That's what I want you to realize and think about as it relates to level 1. A simple, straight promise of benefit. Well, over time, like what happens in every single market, in every single niche, right? What happens is competitors come in, marketing is very incestuous, they knock off messages, they begin to say the same thing. And so what happens is, when you've got a whole bunch of competitors that are saying, take this pill to lose weight, take this pill if you want to lose pounds, right? They're saying variations of the same message. Prospects evolve to level 2 of marketplace sophistication. Now at level 2, and I want you to pay attention to this, because you are going to see a tremendous number of marketers that operate at this level. In fact, I would say this is the level that most marketers operate at, not realizing what it is that they are doing. And so at level 2 of marketplace sophistication, what happens is we see an expansion of the claim, right? So we see marketers blowing up the claim, expanding the claim, making bigger, bolder, more audacious promises. This is where you see hype come in, exaggeration come in. This is the stage when it's, hey, take this pill and you'll lose 10 pounds. Take this pill and you'll lose 15 pounds. Take this pill and you'll lose 16 inches, right? Marketers simply expand the claim. Naive marketers think that the answer to beating competitors, right, to out-converting competitors, is to scream louder benefits, to make a bigger promise than everybody else is making, right? Well, what happens is, of course, same thing at level 1. Marketers come in, begin to compete at this level on the size of the claim and promise that they're making. And what happens is you reach a point as a marketer where you can no longer expand the claim, because either 1, it's not truthful, or 2, it's not believable. And let me just say this, just as a side note, there's a difference between being truthful and believable in marketing. You have to be both. It's not enough simply to be truthful. You have to be believable. You have to be believed, right? And so you reach a point where, blowing up the claim, like if we came out with a supplement today and we said, take this pill and you'll lose 100 pounds, nobody would believe it. It might be a bigger claim, a bigger promise, more audacious promise than all of our other competitors, but nobody would believe it. That's when we find level 3. And level 3 is my favorite. And for the most part, you can operate at level 3 and you never have to move on as a marketer. And I'll explain how in just one second. So level 3 is where we see the introduction of a unique mechanism. The unique mechanism is the unique part, piece, component, aspect, methodology, process, system of your product or service that actually does the delivering of the result of the benefit for the prospect. So the difference between these two stages is not necessarily the promise, but is the inclusion of a unique mechanism, right? And I say all the time that, if you watch any infomercials, right? If you watch any infomercials, you will, you've seen this at play. Anytime they say the secret is in the X, the secret is in the German steel. You don't need to buy any new knives. Once you buy these knives, they cut through steel, they cut through cement, they cut through soda cans, they cut through watermelons, they cut through whatever you want, and they never dull, so you never have to buy new ones, all because of the German steel, right? The secret is in the German steel. That is the unique mechanism. Now, I want you to understand something, that the reason why this works is because it's the unique mechanism that gives prospects hope, that makes them feel like maybe this time I will be able to experience the results. Maybe this time it will work for me, because all the other times I didn't have this mechanism. That was what was missing. Maybe the knives dulled because none of the other ones were made of German steel, right? Maybe the fat burning supplement will work this time because it's got Garcinia cambogia in it and the others didn't. And so maybe this time it will work. And so that's what the unique mechanism does. And the unique mechanism, like I said, and here's the thing that I want you to understand, get this, especially those of you that have been around me for any length of time in terms of trainings and programs and whatnot, that the unique mechanism is not necessarily unique to your product, but it's unique to the prospect. And so what I mean by that is that there are two ways to come up with a unique mechanism. The first way is that you truly have something unique, a unique part, piece, component, aspect, process, system, methodology or whatever that makes up your product or service. If you've got that, awesome. That's what you leverage. That becomes your unique mechanism. Like, for example, if we came out with the very first supplement that did have Garcinia cambogia in it, right, then we do have a unique mechanism. And so we can bring that to the market to establish that hope and create that hope, right? But what if you don't have anything unique? What if there truly isn't anything unique about what it is that you do? Well, if that's the case, number one, there's a different conversation that we need to have. But what I will tell you is that you can leverage a unique mechanism simply by looking within your product or service for an aspect that competitors are simply not talking about, right? So if you bring something to the marketplace that you do, or that's part of your program or product or information, even if other companies offer and do the same thing, if they're not talking about it, but you talk about it, it becomes your unique mechanism. It becomes the unique mechanism, right? That's like the story goes, the legend goes, if you will, Claude Hopkins, right? The godfather of direct response scientific marketing, right? The story goes, went into the Schlitz beer factory because he was hired to do their advertising campaign for them. Dude was touring him around the factory. Claude said, "What's going on over there? Like, that looks cool. What's that all about?" Dude said, "Oh, that's our sterilization process. We sterilize every bottle or whatever it is," right? And Claude says, "Why aren't you telling anybody that you go through this, this sterilization process for pure beer, for just no artificial flavoring in there, for no, the best tasting beer out there?" And the guy said, "Well, because every beer, manufacturer does that." And Claude said, "But so what? Nobody's talking about it." And so, again, you can look within. The third way that I'll share with you, just because, I want you to get this, because this is also such an insanely powerful tool when you understand this, that The other way of developing a unique mechanism for your particular product, for what it is that you're going to talk about, is is with proprietary terminology, right? So is when you bring something proprietary, unique to you, a process, you give it a unique name, a unique title, and you introduce it to the marketplace. For example, let's look at, and again, tremendous respect for Ryan. He's a phenomenal marketer, phenomenal entrepreneur, but let's look at the tripwire. What is a tripwire? A tripwire is a low price, low barrier of entry offer to make it really easy for prospects to buy, right? Nothing new, been around for years. Nothing that was invented by the folks at Digital Marketer, but it is presented as a unique proprietary mechanism. Right. And so what happened is when that was rolled out to the marketplace, lots of marketers felt like, oh, that's why my funnel doesn't convert, because it's missing a tripwire. Right. And that became, now you mentioned tripwire and everybody knows that that's associated with the methodology over at Digital Marketer. But the reality is that that's something common that was turned into a unique mechanism through proprietary naming. Right. You take Russell's, and I tip my hat to him because it's brilliant marketing. You look at Russell's invisible funnel. And what is that model? Well, the foundation of that model is really a soft offer. It's a soft offer, meaning it's a pay nothing now, go through everything, and only if you love it will you pay. Is that something new? Absolutely not. The legends of direct response marketing, guys like, Gene Schwartz, guys like Gary Halbert, they built their businesses on the back of a soft offer. But if Russell were to have rolled out his program based around a soft offer, he no longer has anything new, unique, or different. There's nothing proprietary about that process, right? And so he took one or more additional elements, combined it into a system, right? Already known elements. He took really a free offer plus a soft offer, and he called it the invisible funnel. Ryan took this whole process of, hey, give a low-priced offer, and then followed up with a core offer, and we're going to call that your tripwire, right? That's simply a proprietary naming convention to come up with a unique mechanism so that you can give the same promise that prospects want, but now you are offering a unique solution, right? And so that is level 3. Now at level 4, if when the time comes that, let's say, somebody knocks off your unique mechanism, like let's take, for example, let's go back to the supplement and say that, there was a time when the supplement, the very first supplement came out with Garcinia Cambogia, and I have friends that made millions literally from Garcinia Cambogia, that built businesses around the promotion of Garcinia Cambogia supplements, right? And excuse me, but you do a Google search today, or you do an Amazon search today, and you'll find 5 dozen different supplements that now have Garcinia in it. So what would happen today if we launched a brand new supplement and we said, hey, you'll lose weight because it's got Garcinia Cambogia in it, right? Not a whole lot. That's what would happen. Not a whole lot. At level 4 is when we see the expansion of the unique mechanism, right? So now this becomes, right, if we were releasing our own supplement with Garcinia Cambogia in it, now it becomes take this pill and lose weight because it's got pharmaceutical grade Garcinia Cambogia, because it's got double the potency Garcinia Cambogia, because it's got the added enzyme or nutrient in there for better digestion and absorption, so you get twice the bang for your buck. This is an expansion of the unique mechanism, right? Now typically you will see marketers with physical products that are forced to go from level 3 to level 4 as the market evolves, right? As information marketers, I'm going to show you in just a second how you can thrive ongoing at level 3 simply by coming up with different and unique mechanisms. Level 5, just for your reference, we'll go up a little bit over there. Level 5 is when we're no longer even talking about the product anymore, and now we talk about the prospect and their experience. So over here with our example, it becomes, are you sick and tired of exercising, dieting, popping pills, and not losing weight? Sick and tired of sacrificing and going hungry and still not losing inches? well, X, right? So we start with where the prospect is at. Now, before I explain how you can stay at level 3 and just crush it, because this is really where I almost default to this all the time. And what I look at is I look at the unique mechanism, right? So you can remain at level 3, right? Long term, as long as you are consistently rolling out with a unique mechanism, right? Because I could come out with a fat burner. I could partner with you guys and gals today on a new fat burner, and we could include a different unique mechanism in it that nobody else has, and we're going to flourish. We don't need to go to level 4, right? Because level 4 is when you're using the same unique mechanism, but now you're expanding on it. So, right, if you were teaching Facebook advertising and you were teaching Facebook advertising using the Power Editor, right? Well, there's tons of people that are doing that, but now you're doing it with a radical new add-on, a radical new plugin, a radical new method, right? You're expanding on the unique mechanism. But over here, we could just change the unique mechanism in the info product business and roll out with a new mechanism. Always a new mechanism. And the thing that we ultimately market, just fast forwarding for 1 second in your mind, is it becomes about the unique mechanism, right? We market and get prospects to buy into the value and effectiveness of the unique mechanism of your product, right? If you let that sink in, you'll realize what power I just gave you. Right? That we're not marketing the actual product itself. We're not marketing the commodity behind the product. Like I'm not marketing why you should why you need Facebook advertising, right? I'm marketing and getting buy-in from prospects on the unique mechanism behind why my method, my process, my system works for making you money with Facebook advertising. Big difference between the two. Now, the value of this lesson, right, because this is all about, understanding marketplace sophistication, is that if you don't understand marketplace sophistication and you roll out your funnel, I don't care whether it's got marketing intelligence built in or it doesn't, you roll out with a new marketing funnel that is built on an immature marketing message, which is a marketing message that is too low on the sophistication scale, you will fall flat. I don't care how great the offer is. I don't care how great the product is. I don't care how many premiums you include. I don't care if it's a soft offer with a triple your money back guarantee. I don't care if it's the slickest copy, if it is the prettiest video slides on a VSL or a video series. It will get clobbered. The proof? Imagine if today we came out with an unbelievable fat burning supplement, great product, the whole works, phenomenal pricing, just unbelievable. But all we said was take this pill and you'll lose weight. What would happen, right? Or if we said take this pill and you'll lose 10 pounds, what would happen? We would get clobbered. We'd get clobbered because the market is not at this level. The market is at a higher level of sophistication. And the higher level of sophistication that they're at, like if they're at level 3, meaning if they're looking for a unique mechanism, right? They're not looking for a fat burner. What they're looking for is a unique fat burner. At this stage, people aren't looking for a fat burner anymore because they're all over the place. They're a dime a dozen. They can get them anywhere, right? They're not looking to be told how much weight they can lose with a fat burner. They already know that. They've already been told that. What they are looking for is the unique fat burner that's going to give them the results that they want, the unique mechanism that they haven't been presented with before. And it's that unique mechanism, right? See, if we roll out with the same mechanism, well, now you're competing, right? That's, you're in this, blue ocean, or excuse me, you're in this red ocean, so to speak, based on blue ocean strategy, right? You're in this red ocean, which is bloody, and you're competing against other products that have the same mechanism, right? And now it becomes about more than just, now it becomes about why your product and not all the other products out on the market. And it becomes about, excuse me, I tried that already. It didn't work for me. And so why should I even bother, right? But when we roll out the unique mechanism, now all of that is gone because we're not competing with other competitors selling the same thing because they're not, because they don't have the same unique mechanism that we do. And the unique mechanism allows us to escape the I've tried it already. right? I've tried that. I've tried Garcinia already. It didn't work for me, right? And so, excuse me. So understand that what in this example with fat burners, what prospects are looking for is they're looking for the unique mechanism. You roll out with marketing that doesn't have a unique mechanism, or just an expanded claim, or you roll out with a simple claim and promise, you're dead in the water. You are done. So before you do anything else, before you even think about marketing intelligence, before you go and you begin the whole smartifying process that I'm going to start walking you through nitty gritty detail next week, you make sure that your marketing funnel message is built on the right level of sophistication. So very quickly, and then I'm going to answer some questions. How do you begin that? Like, what's the process, right? Well, look, there are no crazy tools. There is no fancy spreadsheet. There's no crazy competitive intelligence that you need to do. All you need to do is you need to go and you need to look at your top 10 competitors' offers. Look at the promises that they're making. Look at the benefits that they are presenting. Look at the claims that they are making to the marketplace, and identify where the majority of the marketers' messages fall, right? Are they rolling with straight claims and that's it? See, because if I know that a market is rolling with straight claims and that's it, I can go with a level 2 or a level 3 and I'm going to rock. If they're at level 2 and you see that, marketers are trying to compete with each other based on an expansion of claims and promises, they're blowing it up, they're hyping it up, right? I'm going to go to level 3. I'm not going to even compete in that arena, and I'm going to introduce a unique mechanism. Now, if they're operating at level 3, which is only the savviest of marketers really operate at this level, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at what are the unique mechanisms that they are using, right? And what I'm looking for is I want to know what they've said, right? I want to know what it is that they've said, what it is that they're promising, how it is that they've constructed their marketing funnel message, so I know what level the market is at as a whole, right? And ultimately where they're going. And I want to look to see what unique mechanisms they're using so I don't use them, right? So I can come up with a different mechanism, right? And that's why I said that you cannot begin to craft your marketing funnel message until you do this, until you understand this, right? You got to understand what level they're at, and you got to understand what unique mechanisms are being presented so you can craft your message. That's all you need to do. And so that's understanding marketplace sophistication. And so let me just see what questions there are. So, so Chris asks, he said he's struggling to get sales because marketplace sophistication is a big problem in his industry. I'm in the web design space. He said, any ideas? Yeah, it's simple. And that is that as a whole, there's a couple things. So sometimes as a whole, first of all, let me say this. Let me take a step back, right? There are obviously different segments of every market that are at different levels of sophistication. So depending on the size of your market and how targeted you are getting, you have to understand the marketplace sophistication of your target market. So you have to, your target segment. So you just need to, first and foremost, Chris, have clarity on who is your ideal prospect. Are you talking to somebody with a website? Or are you talking to somebody that doesn't even have a website yet? Are you talking to somebody that's got a business, or somebody that wants to throw up a personal website, right? Are you talking to somebody that has already shopped for a web design company or not? And you'll understand more about that actually in a second. So just hang tight. The other thing is that marketplace sophistication is really, again, I want to stress this, is more about the promises that your competitors are making to your market, so that you understand what type of promise to make and what you should and shouldn't say in the promise. Right? So it's much less about the prospect and much more about what is already being said to the market. Susan said, oh my God, proprietary terminology, gold. Yeah, it is pretty gold. How would you use level 3, a unique mechanism, when you're creating a book title? So very easy. I would use the unique mechanism in the book title or in the tagline for the book. So, right. So if you're like, if you were, let's say, writing a book on the secret to growing big, red, juicy tomatoes, right? Well, that is simply a pure promise headline. In the tagline, I would incorporate the unique mechanism, right? Like, in other words, like, using the 5C soil rotation process, you'll be growing bigger tomatoes, bigger, juicier, redder tomatoes in the next 7 days or less, right? Like, in other words, you're incorporating the unique mechanism right into the promise behind the book. And you guys are going to see some of these questions I'm going to answer for you more in depth in just a few minutes. Yeah, so Mark said, the chiropractic market well. What would be examples of a unique mechanism? So, excuse me. So I'll tell you right off the bat. Yeah, I owned one of the bigger marketing and technology companies in chiropractic for many, many years, showing chiropractors how to grow their practice and get more patients and all that great stuff. And, one of the things right off the bat, I'll tell you, one of the easiest ways is, and get this, please, everybody pay attention to this. And that is that, excuse me. So number one, you don't market ever a commodity, right? Like, in other words, like I used to tell chiropractors years ago, I would say, it's not your job to quote unquote sell people on the value of chiropractic care. Right? Like most chiropractors, they use marketing materials that's done for them, or that they design, that's all about the benefits of chiropractic care. It's not your job to sell people on the benefits of chiropractic care. It's your job to sell them on the benefits of chiropractic care with you, right? And so what that means is that when you are marketing the benefits of chiropractic care, it's your methodology, your approach to chiropractic care. So we used to have chiropractors that would do things as simple as the Todd Brown method of chiropractic care, right? We didn't say that we were providing something else, but it's the Todd Brown method because we have a unique patient indoctrination process where we have a 5-step, analysis process with muscle stim after and so on. And so what happens is you're not simply marketing the commodity of chiropractic, you're marketing your methodology, your unique approach to it, right? And so what we're ultimately trying to do is, by using that unique mechanism, is we're creating an apples to oranges comparison between your product or service and your competitors. Right? Because your competitors are only offering chiropractic, right? So if you offer chiropractic, what you've done is you've commoditized your product. And now what it's about is if you allow your product or service to become commoditized, it's which one's cheapest and which one's most convenient for me to get. And that's it. Well, you don't want to allow that. Therefore, I never want to allow an apples to oranges comparison between my product or service, or my client's product or service, or my student's product or service and competitors. The other thing, I'll give you an example, Mark, of one of the things that, like, so often when there were chiropractors that would say, a set of x-rays, you get a free set of x-rays, let's just say. And so what you would see is all right, so once again, they would say you get a free set of x-rays, right? And to better help us understand what's going on in your body so that we can best alleviate, the source of your problem, right? And so now what happens is other chiropractors in the area, they see that and they begin to knock it off and do the same thing, right? Because they don't want you to offer something that they don't, right? And so now they're offering x-rays. And so now what happens is everybody's offering x-rays in the marketplace, and now you've got nothing unique. There's nothing beneficial about the fact that you're offering x-rays. It's kind of like you're offering knives, they're offering knives, the other chiropractor around the corner is offering knives. And so the Claude Hopkins method of standing out is, well, what are those chiropractors, those other chiropractors, as it relates to their x-rays, not talking about, not saying, not presenting to the market that uh, that you could. So, for instance, one of the things, and now keep in mind this is going back many years, that we used to have chiropractors do was give the name of the X-ray machine. Right. And so it's, you get a set of X-rays on the XL, R58, including, of your cervical spine, low, right. And here's the thing. What does that mean, right, to the prospect? Well, the reality is, what does it mean that the knives are made of German steel, right? Like, I have no idea, but it's put in, it gives the impression that makes it better. They didn't say that, like, right? Like, in other words, we're not saying anything more than just you get, X-rays on the XLR 58. Now, number one, that immediately conveys to prospects that that's got to be better, because why would he be saying it in the ad? And that's different. The other doctors are just saying X-rays, right? And so that's a simple example of how you've got the Todd Brown method of chiropractic care coupled with, you get a set of X-rays on the XL5R8, and you could see just in those little simple examples how you can begin to differentiate a commodity service, from the rest of the pack. And so, awesome, very cool. So, is the unique mechanism the same as the big idea? No, I'm going to get to the big idea in just a second, and I'm going to share with you one of the most valuable things that I shared at the 10K per person event in West Palm in just a second. The second thing that you need to understand is you need to understand who you're talking to, right? And this goes back to Chris's question. Let me see here. Hang on one second. I just want to make sure. The answer, Dave. So Dave asked, are you always going to win by going as high as possible with sophistication level, regardless of where your market is? No, not necessarily. You're not. I'm not saying that you should just go as high as possible, because if that was the case, right, then why wouldn't we just always do a level 5 message? You, number one, want to make sure that you are at the appropriate level of marketplace sophistication. More importantly, right, that you're not too low in your message. And I tend to default to level 3 only because I know how easy it is and how powerful it is to incorporate a unique mechanism. And so as long as you have a unique mechanism that's not being knocked off, right, like that hasn't been knocked off, then you can stay at level 3 in your message and you'll just crush it, right? And so the only reason why you'd need to go to level 4 is if somebody comes along and they knock off your unique mechanism. Now, for information marketers, big deal. You can come up with a different unique mechanism, right? Like you find a different aspect of your product. You use proprietary terminology for a different component of your product. It's for more for when you have a physical product that you can't change. And now you've got to find another element in there that you can add on to that unique mechanism, right? So it's not just that your furniture is made of maple wood. Now it's made of maple wood that comes from, Chicago or whatever, so in other words, that's typically for physical product. And so, okay, cool. So going back to now you got to understand. So marketplace sophistication was all about, right, understanding what your competitors are saying. Now you need to understand before you craft a marketing funnel that who the heck are you talking to? And what is their knowledge and understanding of the problem that your product or service solves? Like, what is their level of understanding? Let me see here. Whoops. What is their level of understanding about their situation, right? And so let me share with you the 5 levels of awareness, right? And I'll tell you that this somewhat stems from Gene Schwartz, but the person that really drilled this into me years ago was Michael Masterson or Mark Ford. The guy behind Agora. I've been fortunate and blessed that Mark lives about 15 minutes away from me, and I was introduced to him through Rich Sheffrin many, many years ago, and he's a mentor, and he's become a friend, and obviously the guy has generated multiple millions, multiple $1 million plus businesses. I think he's generated or created over 100 $1 million plus businesses, and so there are these 5 different levels, and I want you to understand how these levels impact what it is that you say in your marketing message. Like, you need to understand what level of awareness or where on the scale of awareness your prospect is at, because it needs to dictate the type of marketing funnel message that you craft. So first and foremost, we've got most aware. Let's actually just go down. Let's go through these and say these are the 5 levels, right? And so let's start with completely unaware. So completely unaware is, let's say, so down here in South Florida, there is a tremendous elderly population, if you didn't know that already. And so a lot of golf as well. Golf courses all over the place, right? And so, excuse me. And so, so a lot of elderly men that fill up their time golfing 2, 3, 4 days a week. Let me just take a drink real quick. And so now, just as a side note, I know, and I think Mark can vouch for me, that golf is one of the worst things for your low back because it includes flexion, bending over, and rotation at the same time. Flexion and rotation. Am I right, Mark? And so flexion and rotation, right, at the same time, really bad for your low back. Well, there are a lot of elderly men. See, Mark said, I am right. There you go. There are a lot of elderly men that are out on the golf course that don't realize, look, low back pain is a massive, massive problem, right? 80% of all adults will at some point or another experience low back pain. There are a lot of elderly men that have they don't have any low back pain. They don't have any problem. They're not thinking about low back pain. They're not looking for a solution to low back pain. They're not looking for a massage therapist or chiropractor or physical therapist or anything like that. They're going about their business completely unaware of any problem, of any impending issues that they're going to have, or anything, right? Now, that is the most difficult prospect to sell to, right? Because you're starting from a completely blank canvas. Now, if let's just go with this chiropractic example for 1 second, because I've crafted many, many marketing funnels for all these different stages. It's been some time, but and so, right, if we were going to sell chiropractic care to the elderly guy, let's say, who's golfing and who has no low back pain and who is completely unaware, the very first thing that I want you to understand is that we have to start at the very beginning by educating that prospect on the likelihood of sustaining at some point a low back injury from their heavy golf schedule. Right, and so we're going to educate them on the reality of an elderly man who golfs 2, 3, or 4 days a week, sustaining a low back injury, what that feels like, what that means, what that looks like. Then we have to go through the different solutions that are out there and the negatives of the different solutions. Right in the marketing message, teaching them, educating them on the negatives, the downside of, let's say, over-the-counter pain medicines, narcotics, surgery, home, equipment and solutions and whatnot. And then we've got to present so unaware, we make them aware, about the problem, then about the negatives of the different solutions, then about the benefits of chiropractic, and then we about why we are the best solution for chiropractic. Right? It's a much different message, right, than that we've got to present than, let's say, the individual who is already aware of their low back pain. They already have low back pain, and now they're aware that they've got this problem and that they want to do something about it. But that's the extent of it. They haven't started searching for solutions. They don't know the difference between of all the different solutions out there, right? And so they're already aware. This person we have to make aware. right? This person is already aware. This person already has an urgent problem. This person doesn't. And that's why this level of awareness is extremely difficult to sell. Now, the next level of awareness is solution aware. Those are individuals that are aware that they have a problem and they're aware of the different solutions out there. They understand that there's massage, that there's physical therapy, that there's drugs, they're thinking surgery, there's all of these different solutions that they are fully aware of, right? Then we've got product aware, right? Which is that they're now aware of chiropractic. These are individuals, the difference between the two is these are individuals that in essence are still looking for the right solution, the category of solution. These are individuals that are sold already on the category of solution. Now it's about which chiropractor is best, right? And then you've got this, most aware. These are individuals that are at the level of awareness where they know you, they know what you're about, they know your credibility, they know your what you bring to the table, right? Now, let me give you an example of the difference between the two, right? Now, let's say you've got somebody who, let's say, is looking for, let's just say they're looking for a tablet, right? They know that they need a tablet to be able to do mobile computer work and blah, 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 but they don't know where to begin. Right? Now you compare that individual to an Apple fan, somebody who owns Apple stuff. Like I have probably 12 different devices in my house. Right now, you compare the two different awareness levels, and if you were designing a marketing funnel for this particular segment of the market, it's going to be very different from this segment. What do these people want to know? They want to know the offer. They want to know what's the deal. Right? Whereas these people, they need to understand, right, the difference between the other tablets and the iPad, right? And if we were designing a marketing funnel, we would be conveying like, these are the options that you have. These are the negatives of the other tablets out on the market. These are the positives of the iPad, right? And this is why Apple is the best at creating, these tablets and designing the best. And here's the offer, right? That's the difference. Whereas for these people, right, it's all about the offer at this point. Right? Like when a new device comes out, what I want to know, I don't need to know that Apple's great, that Apple's legit, that Apple create, like why Apple products are better. I don't need to know that. Right? And so because I'm at most aware, what I need to know is what is the deal. And so once you understand who you're talking to, right? And sometimes they could fall, right? Like sometimes you may deal with individuals in this arena. That's the bulk, that's like usually where we're at, usually even most specifically right here, right? We're dealing with people that are aware of the problem and they're aware of some of the solutions out there to the problem. And now they're trying to make heads or tails of what they should do, right? And so, excuse me. Now they're trying to make heads or tails. Like if you look at a lot of software applications in our arena, like let's say ClickFunnels, Optimize Press, Lead Pages, you're dealing here. You're dealing with these people, right? They understand like that they need a software application. Now they're trying to decide what is the exact software application that they need. Right? See, if they were still over here and they were thinking, do I need a webmaster? Do I need like a different host? Do I need a coach? Like, what do I need? That is here. But the people that are hunting for a solution, they're here, right? So we don't have to start with the problem. And we need to start with why is our solution different and unique and better than the rest? What's the unique mechanism between our software that gives you the result that you're looking for? Faster, cheaper, better, easier, etc. Now, the last thing that I'll tell you, and then because I want to, for time purposes, I want to keep cruising, is how does this impact the type of funnel that you create? Like I shouldn't say the type of funnel. I should really say the type of messaging, which I'm gonna get to in just a minute. Well, and again, this comes right from Mark Ford, okay, right from Michael Masterson. So, excuse me, you've got a direct messaging, and you've got indirect. Direct messaging is like, look, this, and you're going to get a copy of this, so no need to write this down like crazy. But direct messaging is you're coming straight out and you're talking about the offer, right? Like the people that are most aware and that are product aware, it's all about the offer and all about the promise. But as you go down the awareness scale, right? As you go down the awareness scale, your marketing funnel becomes less and less direct. Meaning the people that are completely unaware, like going back to the elderly golfers, right? Like the elderly golfer who's not aware that, they're on the verge of a low back injury, which is going to lay them up and bring them off the golf course, right? Excuse me, right? We wouldn't start with a pure offer-based funnel. We wouldn't start with a pure promise-based funnel. What are we going to promise them? They're unaware of everything, right? So we start with a story. We start with a proclamation. A proclamation is like, one out of 3 elderly men that golf more than once a week will sustain a low back injury. Here's what you need to know and how to prevent it from happening, right? It's indirect. It's not going direct into the product, right? And then there are, purely story-based, funnels. Like my buddy Andre Chaperon, he's a great example of creating sequences where you have no idea that you're even in a sequence. You don't even realize that this is leading up to an offer because he's starting indirectly. He's bringing you in with a story and he's leveraging the story to establish beliefs in your mind that then eventually, once those beliefs have been established, he makes an offer. So you've just got to understand who are you talking to and where do they fall on this scale of awareness, right? Once you understand that, then we go to the single thing that has played a bigger role in my marketing chops and my ability to teach clients how to craft marketing funnels, engineer marketing funnels that sell like crazy. And that's the idea of, no pun intended, of the big idea. First of all, let me take a 2-second or a 10-second break. You guys digging this, right? You following me here? You on track with me here? Let me know. Cool. Awesome. Kathy said yes. Yeah, Chris said yes. Awesome. Best ever. Mark said yes. Mark, Clarity, Brian. It's going great. Jay, awesome. Love it. James, cool. Sweet. Okay. Now, right on. I love it. 2 right-ons right after each other. Joe said right on and then Tim said right on. Sweet. Okay. So, the big idea. Okay. So the big idea, this is what I want you to get. I want you to listen to me carefully here. Dave said worth being up past midnight. I love it. Chatty said, excellent. Now I know I have some work to do. Wow, we haven't even actually gotten started yet. Matt, awesome refresher. Carlos, freaking amazing. Yowza. Yeah, that's awesome. Graham. Cool, man. Awesome. Love it. I love it. You guys jack me up when I see that kind of stuff. So check this out. Listen to me carefully here, please. Okay. So every marketer on this training session right now uses a 2-step marketing process. Please pay close attention. And if you don't understand some aspect, please ask me. I want to make sure that you get this, right? Every marketer on here uses a 2-step marketing process, okay? 2-step marketing process, as you know, is we generate the opt-in first. We get the prospects that are most interested to raise their hand and identify themselves as being interested by giving us their contact information. Now, excuse me. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is that when you are crafting a marketing funnel, not a sales message, but a marketing funnel, the thing that you are ultimately promising on your opt-in page is information. You are providing information, and it's the information that you are providing that is ultimately going to be your marketing funnel. Let me say that again. Let me just fast forward for 1 second on this slide so that I have some room here, and then I'll go back. So on your on your squeeze page, right, you are offering information. And then you've got, let's just call it, you've got an opt-in form, right? Maybe a button, whatever, right? So this is your lead capture page. Now, the difference between, I'll say this just very quickly because I don't want to get bogged down in this because I want to get to the big idea. But the difference between what most marketers have been taught and the right way to use the two-step marketing process, the way that I use the two-step marketing process and how my clients use it and the way you're going to use it, is that we don't offer a lead magnet that is some additional widget, some additional spreadsheet, some weird cheat sheet that you offer on this page just to get the opt-in. Then you deliver it to them on a thank you page. Here's their lead magnet. And now because you got them on your list, now you're going to try to plug them into a marketing funnel. No, that was never how the two-step process was utilized by guys like Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert. That's not how the biggest direct response companies use it today. No, the right way to use the two-step process is the thing that you are offering on this first page is information. When they opt in, the information that they opted in for gets delivered to them. And that information is one in the same as your marketing funnel, right? Every single individual on here opted in for information about marketing intelligence and setting up a smart funnel. And then I delivered that information to you. And that information built the desire for the training. And then I offered the training. There was no separate cheat sheet, no widget, no cool piece of software that I had created as this extra freebie thing to get people on the list. We are offering information. Now, why am I sharing that with you in this discussion of the big idea? Because the information that you are offering, right, is an idea. There is an idea behind what you are presenting to the market, right? That information, behind that information is an idea. It could be a crappy idea. It could be an average idea. It could be a mediocre idea, or it could be a big idea, right? Meaning that, and whether a marketer realizes it or not, you are bringing an idea to the market, and you are hoping that the idea that you are presenting on your opt-in page is compelling enough to get them to opt in, to get them to give you their contact information, right? And so the thing that, the thing that I want you to understand, one of the things that Mark Ford shared with me years ago during the initial conversation and really training, if you will, about the big idea was he said to me, and this is so great, write this down and live by this in everything that you do as a marketer, not just the creation of a high conversion marketing funnel. But Mark said, how about now? Is the audio back, Chris? Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Nikolai. Okay, cool. Mark. Yes. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Maybe it was just Chris who bugged out. Okay. So Mark said, check this out. Listen to this. Mark said, you know what? We're in the idea business. That's the business that we're in as marketers. We are in the idea business. All of our products are certainly based on an idea. Right? An idea that you could do something different, something better, something more efficient, something easier, faster, more productive, right? We are in the idea business. When you write a blog post, there's an idea behind that blog post, right? When you create a marketing funnel, there is an idea behind the funnel, right? And so you want to make sure that you are developing big ideas for your marketing funnel. I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. First, how are ideas even created, right? Like, do you need to be a creative individual to come up with marketing ideas, right? Well, the answer is no. You don't need to be creative. Simply put, right? Simply put, the way you come up with ideas is by looking for connections between seemingly disconnected things. That's it. That's how you come up with ideas. You come up with ideas by looking for connections between seemingly disconnected concepts, disconnected things, disconnected elements, disconnected themes, right? Disconnected things going on in the news, right? That's one of the things that my buddy Rich Sheffrin is phenomenal at. And that's why he's just a brilliant dude. He naturally sees connections where others don't. Well, you can become better at that idea generation by practicing looking for connections between two seemingly disconnected things, right? Like, excuse me. And so, like, I'll give you an example. The very first big idea that I came up with, which was borderline a big idea. It was the closest thing at the time that I ever, this was right after Mark first shared this with me. This was many moons ago when I was still working with chiropractors. So I wanted to release a course on how to get more patients with social media. But everybody and their brother within chiropractic that was teaching practice building and marketing had a course on social media, right? And that market was and is, I think it still is, it was back then, incredibly saturated with extraordinarily savvy direct response marketers. Dan Kennedy was writing copy, for like 2 companies back then. Excuse me. So what was I to do? Well, this was right around the time that President Obama in the United States was just elected for the first time, right? And so I began looking for connections between the election and what was on the top of the mind of prospects and what I was going to be teaching. And I immediately saw that there was this whole big thing about the online process, the online approach that President Obama used, and how he was able to generate, whatever it was, $7 million of donations in 48 hours using, online marketing and whatnot. And so, boom, there was a connection that I saw between him having success in his campaign and crushing, what's his name? The old guy, who I voted for, McCain, at the time, and what I was about to teach. And so I created a campaign that was, instead of saying how chiropractors can use social media to get more patients, right, which was, like a level 2 message at the time, right, I was able to tap into this idea of basically how any chiropractor can use the same online strategy or the same online, I forgot what it was because this is many, many years ago, the same online marketing process that President Obama used to get elected to attract a surge of new patients online from social media, right? Like something like that. Connection between two seemingly disconnected things and sharing something that nobody else was sharing. Talking about something that nobody else was talking about. So very quickly, what are the components of a big idea? Wow, I can't believe how behind I am in time. First of all, every big idea is one idea. Right? And this is one of the things that I work on with clients that pay, $10,000 for a single day. Usually they have a combination of mediocre ideas. And let me just say this, one other thing, okay? I want you to get this. Please listen to me here, okay? The headline is not the big idea. The headline simply conveys the big idea. So when I begin working with new clients, let's say in a program like this or in a more intimate, higher end, like I said, a marketing funnel intensive day where they come down, to West Palm for 8 hours and spend the whole day with me, right? And I ask them, tell me the idea that you have right now. Tell me the idea. They immediately go into copywriter mode. They immediately go into rattling off a headline, right? It's how to get, no. Tell me the idea. Right? And what I want you to think about is the idea should be something that you can rattle off in about 20 seconds, that if you shared with somebody at a party, at a social gathering that was, let's say a potential prospect, because they were interested in what it is that you were talking about, that they would say to you, yeah, wow, what's that about? Yeah, man, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Right? That's all I'm asking for initially before you write a single word of copy is tell me the idea. Right? So when I was brainstorming that idea, it was like this. It was, the team for Obama discovered some online marketing tactics that they used to generate multiple millions of dollars in like 48 hours and get their candidate elected. And now chiropractors can use that same approach to attract new patients into their practice from the internet. What do you think? Yeah, cool. Tell me a little bit more about that. How is that possible? Or what's that about? Or what's the process, right? Then it went from that to, okay, now let me begin to craft the headline. And the thing that I want you to understand is that you could have 12 different headlines that express the same big idea, right? We could use different words, different phrases, different copy to express the same idea. And that's why I say that the headline is not the idea. The headline simply conveys the idea, but it's one idea. Like I had a client on a coaching call the other night, and his headline was something like how to generate referrals, the autopilot way to generate referrals, and how to grow your business and cash flow, with something like that, right? And that's an example of, you got multiple ideas in there. You've got a weak, mediocre idea, which is how to, automate the generation of referrals, and you're trying to spice it up by introducing additional mediocre ideas. That's not the way you do it, right? So immediately I told him, drop everything else that has anything to do with, that doesn't have anything to do with generating referrals. And now let's take the generating referrals and let's turn that into a big idea and focus on one thing. Right? Let me give you an example from another client very quickly. So I have a client who teaches how to design videos for YouTube that get you that attract channel subscribers, fans on YouTube. That's basically the gist of what he teaches. Dime a dozen out there, right? Tons and tons of people out there. So imagine, right, what the typical marketer would do is how to get 1,000 fans a day, or how to get 10,000 subscribers a month on YouTube, right? They'd be stuck at a level 2 marketplace sophistication marketing message, right? So we designed a big idea campaign, and he came up with this campaign, and then we fleshed it out a little bit in the copy, in the headline. But it's something like this, right? It's something like secret buried in 82-year-old silent film is being used by YouTube marketers to generate over 1,000 new fans every month with zero advertising, right? And so it's a single idea, right? And it's a single benefit, right? And there's one, we're not trying to get them scared, get them excited, all at the same time. It's one story that there is a secret hidden in an 82-year-old film, right? It's new and it's fresh, meaning it's new. It's not something that they've heard before. So it's unique and it's different and it's immediately understandable, right? It doesn't take it's not it's not something that you have to read on to grasp. It's not something that you need to read the rest of the copy to fully understand, right? That whole idea of, they'll understand what I'm trying to say if they read the rest of the copy or the bullets on the squeeze page. No, it doesn't work that way, right? They're not going to read the bullets on the squeeze page if they're not immediately compelled by your single big idea. So you could see how all of this is building on each other, right? And you're going to want to go back and watch the recording of this video tomorrow, so that you can see how everything thus far that I've told you is connected, right? Understanding marketplace sophistication. First of all, understanding marketing versus selling, understanding marketplace sophistication, understanding the who your prospect is and what awareness level they're at. Now, understanding, okay, you can't craft a big idea until you know what's been said already, right? Because if you don't know what's been said, how do you know that what you're presenting is unique and different? How do you know that it's new, right? You don't. And so the whole goal of the big idea is to prevent what's called mental opt-out, meaning it's to prevent your prospects from coming to the first page in your funnel and saying, oh, I know that, oh, I've seen that, oh, I've heard of that, oh, more of that again, oh, I'm out of here, oh, another tool, another plugin, and so on, right? And so, excuse me. And so the whole goal of the big idea is to create this feeling of discovery, right? In fact, let me share with you, so check this out. I'm going to share with you something that I've only shared up to what was I just going to say? Up to this point, I've only shared this with high level clients. And I shared this with the folks at the Big Idea Bootcamp, right? I'm going to give you something that you get just this and nothing else. Watch what happens to your income. Watch what happens to the conversion rate of your marketing, right? 2 gigantic keys to the big idea. So when I was prepping for the Big Idea Bootcamp in January, I went back over about, 20 some odd, like $28 million plus marketing campaigns, marketing promotions, marketing funnels, to look at the big idea and to look for, again, the common themes among the big ideas used in those $1 million plus marketing campaigns. And I found 2 commonalities in all of them. Are you ready for this? Tell me, are you ready for this? Dude, who wants to know this? Get me jacked up over here. So Nikolai says, yeah. Mark says, F yeah. Another Mark says, I do. Lay it on us. Yes. Yeah. Show me. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Yeah, baby. I love it. Awesome, man. I do. I can't wait. Bring it on. Okay. Check this out. Are you ready for this? The big idea. This is going to bring it together for you. Big idea. 2 big daddies right here. That the big idea is emotionally compelling. That's the first of the 2 keys. Okay? The second key is really the big one. The one that I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Really, honestly. First one is that it's emotionally compelling. So what makes a big idea, what is the part of the big idea that is emotionally exciting, emotionally compelling, that gets your prospects jacked up? Well, it is a big, bold promise that is backed by a unique mechanism, right? And we talked about that early, right? I said to you that that's like the key to operating at a level 3 marketplace sophistication, right? So it's a bold promise. This is the thing that they want. Right? This is the thing that they want. The biggest, baddest, boldest, most exciting thing that you can promise them. But the thing that gives the prospect hope and belief that maybe this time it's different, maybe this is the answer, is the unique mechanism. Now, this is pretty straightforward. Nothing huge, nothing groundbreaking here with this. For some of you, the unique mechanism alone is going to be will be groundbreaking. But if you've been around my stuff for any length of time, you've heard me drill this into you, right? But here's the second piece of this bad boy, and that every big idea is also intellectually interesting, meaning that it stimulates a feeling of discovery, an aha moment. Like, I just stumbled on something new. I just stumbled on something newsworthy. I just stumbled on a brand new thing, right? An aha. I get it. I see, right? And the thing that I want you to understand is, check this out, is that, the reason why this is so effective, and this is my belief in having studied this stuff for years, right? It was, I don't even know, 7 years ago or something like that I was first exposed to this through Mark, and then I went on this crazy adventure and studying and learning and mastering this, and then going back and in prep for the Big Idea Bootcamp, right? And this is one of the things that I presented at the Big Idea Bootcamp as well, that this and this, emotion and logic, is at the heart of persuasion. Right? Like, I never really I never really got excited by the books on persuasion, like, persuasion, because I just never, like, that wasn't my thing. I always was like, I'm not into that, right? But then I really came to understand that while other marketers are focused on salesmen's tricks and trying to hardcore sell people, and they're simply benefit dumping, or in some cases feature dumping, and that's all they're doing in their marketing funnel, or they're making claim after claim after claim after claim, and that's it. That's not persuasion, right? Persuasion is when you appeal to someone's heart and you appeal to someone's mind. This was first talked about many, many moons ago by Aristotle, and this is at the heart of persuasion, and you're going to see how this is at the heart of the next piece that I want to talk about, which is structuring your rock solid sales argument and marketing funnel message. Okay, so now at this point, right, you have an understanding of, right, you know the difference between marketing and selling. You understand that you need to know the marketplace sophistication. You need to know what is the awareness level of the prospects that you are talking to, right? And you understand, you understand the value of a big idea backed behind your marketing funnel. Now, that big idea that then gets turned into a headline, and that headline is the thing that gets put on your opt-in form. That's it. That's what you are promising. You're promising to share your idea with your prospect. Now it's about, at this stage, how do you structure your marketing funnel message? What I'm about to show you is what I do all the time. If you look at what I did in the funnel, the launch series for the Smart Funnel formula, if you look at what I did in the six-figure funnel formula, you look at what I do in all client campaigns, and you look at what Agora does in every promotion that they send out, this is what you're going to see. Okay? So here, I said earlier, let's do this. This represents the timeline of your marketing funnel. And I don't care how long or short it is, right? This doesn't represent a long funnel. This just represents your funnel, whether it's a 4-part video series, whether it's a survey, whether it's an evergreen webinar into replay with PDF, don't matter, okay? This represents your funnel. This is the entry point of the funnel, right? So this is the first page of your funnel, right? Over here, this is where the sale is made. Now listen to me. I told you that over here in your funnel, things change. We segue at this point in your funnel because this over here is the marketing. This over here is the selling. This is 75% of what you say in your marketing funnel. Don't care how short or long the funnel is. This is a rough, estimate. 25% is selling. This, you already understand, this is about your product. Really, what I should say is, the better way to say this is about the offer. This is where you segue into the presentation of your offer. Right here, we segue into the introduction of your product or service. So at this point, prior to this point, there's been no mention of the product or anything, right? Now look, if you look at the Smart Funnel Formula video series, you'll see 3 videos that are marketing and 1 video that is sales. At no point in this video, or until the very end of this video, did I even mention the training program. Right? You look at the six-figure funnel formula, you'll find the same thing. There's no mention of the training program, the offer, the guarantee, the bonuses, or anything, right? Until the tail end, the last 15 seconds of this video, and then this video sells. So the question then becomes, well, what the heck goes over here in this 75%, right? So we've got the entry point over here, which is your opt-in page, right? And you're going to learn throughout this program how we jack up conversions with marketing funnel intelligence, right? And we're going to get into it tonight. I know I'm crazy behind, but we're going to start to give you the understanding. We're going to start to implement these things next week. But so what is this, right? So I already said that this is your big idea being delivered in the form of a headline. When folks opt in, they're opting in to get this information. This information is then delivered in the first 75% of the marketing funnel. Now, let me explain what we do here, how we structure this. So, excuse me. So, you start off by asking yourself, what do these people need to believe to buy? What do these people need to believe at this point right here in order to want my product? Right? See, I want you to understand something. We're going to use education-based marketing, which I've talked about all the time. I started teaching this 2 years ago. The most powerful way to structure any marketing funnel. We're going to use education-based marketing, right, to structure our marketing funnel message over here. Excuse me. And I want you to understand something. We're not educating for the sheer sake of educating, right? Every single thing that was said and done, and you're going to see this with the pull back the curtain insider's peek, right? You're going to see how everything was said and done and presented and demonstrated for a specific strategic purpose, which was to advance the sale, to create desire so that at the point that I introduced the product, right, and made the offer, everybody in the funnel, right, or the maximum number of people in the funnel wanted to be able to use smart funnel and marketing intelligence, right? By this point, they wanted to be able to use this. They just needed to know how, or you just needed to know how. And that's where the offer came in, right? And so you guys at this point were pre-sold on the value of marketing intelligence and a smart funnel, right? Of having a high conversion marketing funnel that allows you to extract out $2, $3, $5 for every dollar that you put into traffic, right? You were already pre-sold on that. So when I presented the offer, it was fulfilling on what it is that the desire that was created throughout the EBM content. How did I do that? Through education. Right? Through education, teaching you what you could do and the impact of it and why we would do it and the difference between a static funnel and a smart funnel and so on, right? Education. But every piece of education was designed with a strategic purpose. So what was that purpose? Okay? So what was that purpose? Well, the question is, what do they need to believe to buy? What do prospects need to believe by the time they reach this point right here? It's what do they need to believe before we introduce the product or service? So then once we know what they need to believe, and I'm going to give you an example. Once we know what they need to believe, this EBM process becomes very simple because it becomes, we make a claim, we tie that claim to one or more proof points, and these two things lead to a belief. This is establishing our first belief. So if there are 6 things that they need to believe, and I'm going to address something in 1 second. If there are 6 things that they need to believe, then we're going to have, basically, in so many, to keep things real simple, we're going to have 6 claims, belief 2. Then we go on to claim number 3 plus proof is belief 3, and so on, all the way to the final belief, right? The final belief. Now look, if you're a Ryan Dice student, a digital marketer student, no doubt at one point or another, you've heard Ryan say, listen, you should only try to get prospects to believe one thing and one thing only. If you try to get them to believe more than one thing, your conversions are going to go down. And so how does that jive with what I'm saying right here, right now? Well, it jives perfectly with what I'm saying, because what Ryan is talking about is this one final belief over here. What I'm showing you is how, on a myopic level, we establish that one belief. So Ryan is talking about over here, like let's say, let me give you this example. So I had this client who, I tell the story, who was selling Facebook advertising to pizzeria owners, only to pizzeria owners, right? And so, excuse me. So what he wanted those pizzeria owners to believe, right at the end here, before he introduced his product or service, was that Facebook advertising done his way, done the right way, I should say, was the absolute best, most efficient, most profitable way to acquire new patrons from the internet. Right? That was the one belief that he wanted them to believe. He didn't want them to believe that, Facebook is the best, and if you combine it with social media and you hire a webmaster and you do that. No, one single belief that Facebook advertising done correctly is the single most effective, efficient, and profitable way for you as a pizzeria owner to acquire new patrons for your pizzeria, to get people in the door, right? So in order to establish that belief, the way I want you to think about it is, I want you to think like a prosecutor. You're much better off thinking like a prosecutor than you are trying to think like a slick salesman. And how can I con this person into believing me? Or how can I convince this person that my product is the best? You are a prosecutor proving your case. What is your case? This right here. The jury is the pool of prospects, right? And so, just like a prosecutor, if they were prosecuting a dude on trial or a woman on trial for murder, the prosecutor wants the jury to believe one thing: that person is guilty of murder and should be found guilty. Right? That's the one thing. But then the prosecutor goes through a methodical, logical, rational, legitimate case proving this. Right? See, the one element that lots of marketers leave out is, I know we've all been taught, right? You've heard, no doubt, if you've been around, that it's all about benefits and emotion. That's what people want to hear. People want to know what's in it for me, what's in it for them, right? And that's all they care about. Well, that's not all they care about. Not today, right? It's a very different environment today than it was even a decade ago, especially 2 decades ago, right? Because today people are more cynical, more skeptical than ever before, right? Because they're inundated with more promises, more marketing, more advertising, more scams, more cons, right, than ever before. And so they want you to prove it to them. They want to believe you, but they need to see proof that what you are saying is legitimate. Now, what most marketers do is most marketers simply have a string of claims, right? And they automatically assume, for whatever reason, that because they're saying it, they're making these claims, that prospects are going to believe them. That if they say XYZ is great, your pizzeria is going to fail if you don't use Facebook advertising, and they just string together claims, and then at the end they make an offer, and they hope and think that their prospects will believe them simply because they said it. Well, the reality is that that anybody can make claims. It doesn't take a marketing genius to simply make claims. Anybody can do that. The value, the secret in having a rock solid sales argument is attaching every claim to proof. You make a claim. So let's go back to the pizzeria example. So one of the very first things that the pizzeria owner, right, needed to establish, one of the initial beliefs, the marketer selling Facebook advertising for pizzeria owners, is that the internet is a viable advertising and customer acquisition medium for pizzerias, for restaurants. They got to make sure that their prospects believe that, right? If they were standing in front of a room of pizzeria owners, they got to make sure that those pizzeria owners recognize and believe with beyond a shadow of a doubt that, yeah, the internet is a viable medium. Before they can sell them on Facebook advertising being great, they got to make sure that they have this belief. The next one is that their local people in their geographic area are accessible online, that they can get a message out in front of them. They've got to believe, those pizzeria owners, that the people in their geographic area are already responding to advertisements from local restaurants, right? They need to believe that paid advertising is better. It's funny how these things are getting bigger and bigger. Paid advertising is better than free advertising, right? They need to believe that. If they don't believe that, they might believe you as that Facebook is great, that you're the best with Facebook, that your course is better than anybody else's, that this is a bargain, but they they might think to themselves, well, why would I pay for advertising when I could just do it free with like, Google Maps or Google Places, whatever. And can't I just get ranked on the search engines? Like I heard my buddy gets free traffic. Why would I pay for traffic, right? So we have to establish the belief in their mind that paid traffic is better for a pizzeria owner than free traffic. Then we have to establish the belief that Facebook is the best paid traffic. Right? If they believe that Google AdWords is better and it gets more traffic and it's easier, then the likelihood of them paying for Facebook it goes down. They've got to believe that that they've got the budget, that it's easy for them, and that they'll see the ROI right away. Right? And so how do we establish each of these beliefs? One by one for each of these. We make a claim and we present proof. Right? The internet is a viable medium for restaurants to acquire new patrons. That's a claim. Now we have to offer proof. When we offer the proof, then we're able to back that up with, so the benefit to you is you can tap into the internet to start getting a surge of new people. Right? Now we claim, proof, benefit. Right? Over here, done deal. Now we go on to the next one. The next one is that your people are, people in your geographic area are accessible online. So you don't have to advertise to people in Ireland or Australia or Norway or wherever, right? That's just a claim. So now we have to prove it, right? And lots of different ways to prove it. We could even go into Facebook and show them how we can advertise just to a certain segment of a geographic area, right? And so what that means is that for you, Bob, is that as a pizzeria owner, you can blah, 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 right? You can pinpoint target the people that are within a 5-mile radius of your pizzeria and only them to make sure that you are investing right, blah, 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 right? And so what do? We establish this. And then we go on to the next one, and your people in your geographic area are responding, right? And we show them how, 6 restaurants in the local area have been running advertising for 5 months now, right? And they wouldn't continue to do it if they weren't. Boom, right? We establish that belief. Then we go on to paid traffic is better than free traffic, right? We explain that, we offer proof. Well, what's the proof? That paid traffic is scalable, that we could turn it on, we could turn it off, we can get traffic right away, whereas free traffic takes a long time. It's not really free. It makes your business vulnerable, right? So by the end of that chunk, if you will, right, they believe it. Facebook is better than any other free traffic. Well, why? Well, the reason why Google AdWords is got strict terms of service of what you can do. It doesn't have the same targeting options that we have here. It doesn't allow you to to whatever, right? But boom, boom, boom. That's how we do it. So that by the time they reach this point, we haven't said one thing about the product or the offer. But what we have done is we've created massive desire in their mind for Facebook advertising. By this point over here, what these prospects feel is, yeah, wow, I see it. I totally get it. That's what I need to do. I need to get started with Facebook advertising, right? And at some point in here, we establish the belief that they don't need to pay a company to do it, right? That they could do it themselves because it's as simple as 3 steps, and here's the interface that shows you how to do it, and you could be up and running in just 30 minutes and profiting. Even by the end of the day, your phone could be ringing, right? And so by this point, they're like, man, that's what I got to do, right? That's what I got to do. That's when we segue into the offer, right? And that's why I put together the Facebook advertising program for pizzeria owners. Let me tell you what it's all about. Let me tell you what you get with it. And let me tell you how quickly it will work to bring new people into your pizzeria. Boom. Now we go into the 25%, selling portion where we present the offer. That's how you structure your message. That's how you deliver value, even in your marketing. When Gary Benzavenga, legendary advertising copywriter, said that your marketing should be valuable in and of itself, this is what he means. This is what he's talking about. This is when you design funnels like this, it doesn't feel like advertising. It doesn't feel like marketing. It doesn't feel like you're being sold, because you're not. You're being educated, but you're being educated in a way where each piece of education that I have in here is done strategically and specifically to establish the beliefs that they need to buy. All the little beliefs that add up to this belief. Right? This is the prosecutor saying this person, right? He wants the jury to believe that they're guilty, right? And that they should be charged accordingly. And so the prosecutor says, right, he was there. He was at the crime scene. Here's the evidence, proof. That's one belief, right? He had a motive, right? Here's the proof. He filled out a new insurance policy like 2 days before, right? He didn't want to get caught. It was premeditated. Here's an example. There's a map that we found in his house where he mapped out the course and where he, buried the body, right? He had a violent past, right? Here's the proof. Here's his arrest record. Here's all of these beliefs logically in order. Claims plus proof lead to the belief. The beliefs add up together. This logic chain adds up to boom, right here. This one belief, and then the prosecutor goes into their closing argument, where at the end of that closing argument, they make their call to action. What's the call to action? Find him or her guilty. Same with you. You go into your closing arguments, which is, that's why I put together this product. That's why you want this product, and here's what it does for you, right? And then we back up all of the claims that we make about the product with proof. This is where you see testimonials come in. Right? Testimonials about your product don't come in during this EBM portion. They come in during this portion, right here, during the sales portion. Why? Because testimonials serve as a proof point for what it is that you are saying, what it is that you are claiming about your product. And then you give the call to action. Get it now. Like the prosecutor gives the call to action, find him or her guilty, then you give the call to action. Get it now. Right? And so that is structuring your sales argument. I hope that you see the crazy value of what it is that I just shared with you here, right? Of what it is that I just showed you here. And so let me just see. So awesome. I'm glad you love it. So Susan said, brilliant. I'm so excited. Pete said, guilty. That's right. Chris said, yeehaw. Mark said, amazing, Todd. Love it. Cool. Tom said, fantastic. Thank you so much. Cool. I love it. Yeah. So, okay. So Deshaun, I mentioned that earlier. So you'll get the link to the platform tomorrow when we put the first recording in there. So, okay, let me see. Okay. So, great stuff, Chris said. Okay, so, wow. Chris said, yeah, you're right, Chris. I love it. Chris said, that one slide, the 2 gigantic keys to the big idea, is worth the price of the entire program. It really is. Really is. Absolutely, when you get that, because it'll change the whole focus of your marketing. Carlos said, I'm stoked. You guys are awesome. So before I go on, and I'm so sorry that I'm over here. I'm probably, just to give you a frame of reference, I'm probably going to go another 45 minutes, probably till 9. I'm so sorry. I'm going to pick it up. I'll be better, I promise, in the future sessions, because we haven't even gotten to the smart funnel matrix. Smart funnel formula matrix. So Chatty said, boom. Gary B does know. You're right. Nikolai said, you're a badass presenter. Thank you so much. Dushan, thanks. This is pure genius. Love the prosecutor analogy. Cool. Building a case. Absolutely. I need to watch the video at least 10 times. Agreed. I love the clear structure. You are awesome. I'm giddy right now too, Carlos. Okay. Is that Nikolai? If that's Russell's event, yeah, I will be there. I think, they have a cool special award for me, I think, which is awesome. I agree. The 2 slides are the key. Okay. Hang on. Okay. I'll catch the rest on the recording. You got it, Tom. Awesome. Cool. Okay, wait. So hang on. So Susan said, I'm so okay with the extra time. Good. You got it. Okay. So hang on. So Mark said, this is really going to help me. I've struggled with this for a long time. Cool. I love it. Okay. So there's 2 questions though that I want to address. Hang on. Okay. Wow. You know what it is, Mark? Mark said, I'm really good on webinars. I appreciate that. I just freaking love this stuff, and I know the power of this in your hands, right? Like, listen to me. this is life changing. Like you guys, I'm not selling anything, right? I'm not marketing anything. You guys are here. You guys, I'm telling you, if you get this, listen to me. I am not like, let me deviate for 1 second and then get back to it. I know I'm already running over and I wonder why. But listen to me. I don't bring anything special to the table as a marketer, right? Despite what you may hear, despite what people say, despite even what many of you may think, Todd is a genius. I am nothing. I am nowhere near being a genius by any stretch of the imagination, right? But I understand some little hinges that swing big doors. I understand, right, the little elements that I've come to learn through trial and error over the years. I've been doing this now 13 years, and I understand. And fortunately, I figured it out. Like, and I know that sounds like your typical marketing story, and what I'm sharing with you, this is my secret. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. Granted, I might be quicker at coming up with ideas. I might be a little better only because of practice and time and experience at copy, but this is it. This is how I think about every single funnel. And now you will see this carried over when I show you the pull back the curtain insider's peek. You're going to be like, there it is. I get it. There's EBM content. There are the beliefs. And I'm going to point it out to you, but you're going to see it all come together. And so yes. Okay. So let me see here. Nikolai asked, do we use the big idea throughout the funnel or for the core offer? How do we amplify it throughout the funnel without damaging the core offer? Or can we uncover the big in the biggest and baddest upsell we're after? So let me clarify something, okay? The big idea, and this is important, so pay attention. The big idea has nothing to do with your product. The big idea is not about your product. The big idea is about the idea behind your marketing message. The big idea is like when we look at this again, right? And we see that this is the 75% right here. It's the content. It's the idea behind the content that we are presenting. Like, let me give you one example. Another example, this one from Agora, this one from Stansberry Research. So the biggest promotion that ever came out of the financial investing newsletter industry, what has been worth hundreds of millions of dollars, literally, to the one division of Agora, Stansberry Research, was this promotion called The End of America, right? And those of you that have been with me for any length of time, you've heard me talk about it before. Now, the thing that I want you to understand before I explain it is that The End of America, this promotion, this like hour and 15-minute VSL, a 1 hour and 15-minute VSL, sold a $49 newsletter subscription, $49 a year, not even a month, $49 a year newsletter subscription. Now, that newsletter that it was selling had been marketed and sold before with prior campaigns, with prior funnels for years. And after The End of America, that newsletter is still being sold via different campaigns. Okay, different funnels is the way that I want you to think about it. Well, the reason why it was called The End of America was because the marketing, the message was right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you agree with it or not. We're certainly not seeing it now in the United States, but the idea was that the U.S. economy as we know it, this was years ago now, so the U.S. economy as we know it is about to collapse because all the signs point in the direction of the dollar, the US dollar, losing its status as the world's reserve currency. If you don't know what this means, don't worry about it. But the US economy is going to collapse because all the signs point to the US using the dollar losing its status as the world's reserve currency, and therefore the dollar will crash in value. Right? And if you don't know what to do with your money, your retirement will get wiped out. If you know a few simple moves, right, you will be able to not only hold on to your retirement, but you'll be able to make a fortune in the process. Interesting idea, right? That like the world, the United States economy is about to collapse. That's why they named it, right? Like, it's the end of America as we know it. It's the end of the United States economy. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is that led up to the introduction of a newsletter offer, right? But it was the idea, the big idea that they presented in here, like, look, the U.S. economy as we know it is about to change. That's a claim. Here's the proof. The proof is, that this is an indicator, this is an indicator, this is an indicator. That, and the U.S. dollar is about to lose its status as the world's reserve currency. That's a claim. Here is the proof, right? And when that happens, the dollar will lose its all of its value. Here's the proof of that, right? Claim plus proof of that, right? All these things. And if you don't know what to do with your money, it's gonna get wiped out. That's a claim. And here's the proof of that. But yet there are some simple moves that you can make, right? That's a claim that'll allow you to make more money. And here is proof of that, right? And I put it all, right? So by the end of this thing, you watch the end of that video. If you live in the United States, you're like, oh my gosh, man, I gotta get this. I gotta make a move right now. Like I'm screwed. That's how you feel at the end of that. And you feel like you just got an incredible economic and financial education, right? And then Porter says in the video, right? And that's why I put this together for you in one single report that lets you know how to blah, 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 do all this to prevent this, blah, blah, blah. And you get that for free when you take a $49 subscription to, Stansberry Research, to the newsletter, right? And see, this was the idea. The end of America was the idea. And so the big idea doesn't necessarily carry over to the product. The big idea is in the marketing message. Now today, this same newsletter is sold, but the idea that is used is different. They're no longer talking about the end of America because they no longer believe that that's what's going to happen right now, right? And they use that already, and they generated, like I said, hundreds of millions of dollars between front end and back end. Incredible, from this one end of America funnel. That's just that goes to show you, if you have not been convinced already of the difference that what I taught you about the big idea plays in the success of your funnel. They changed the big idea, not the offer, not the product, not the price point, the idea. And the idea changed because it was such a big, startling, shocking, captivating, and emotionally compelling and an intellectually interesting idea. It catapulted the result. The crappy idea, if they would have said, here's how to invest to protect your money for retirement, they would have made no money. But that's not the information that they promised. That's not the idea they were bringing to the table. What separates Agora from everybody else is this. Why are they the leading newsletter publishers in the world today? Because of this. Because of what I taught you. Because of what was taught by to me by Mark Ford. Right? And so, but let's keep going. The last piece that I want to share with you, and all of you have heard this before, but I just want to give you some quick tools to use, is that you got to craft a truly superior and irresistible offer. Like, one of the things that a lot of marketers don't understand is that, like, I would really say, like, first of all, in direct response marketing, we've got, in order of importance, we've got list. That's right. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to people that have an interest, right? Like, are you talking to people that are completely unaware? Or are you talking to people that are problem, are solution aware? Like, who are you talking to, right? Then you've got offer. And what I would really say is you've got big idea. Then you've got offer. This is my little version of it. It's not that easy to write with a mouse. And then you've got copy. Most marketers, it's amazing, right? Most marketers be honest with yourself. You don't have to admit it to me live in front of everybody else here, but be honest with yourself at least. How much time do you spend on actually crafting the offer? What most marketers do is they say, here's my product. It's $50 or $100 or $200 and and that's it, right? And hey, you get a 30-day money back guarantee if you don't love it. And that's it. That's not a superior offer. That's not, right? That's not a truly irresistible offer. It's interesting because on my whiteboard, I should have taken a picture of this. On my whiteboard right next to my desk, I'm looking at it right now. On the whiteboard to the left of me, in big bold letters, it says, focus on crafting killer offers, exclamation point. right? Killer offers, offers that are just over the top, that are a no-brainer, that are superior to what everybody else is offering in the marketplace in terms of value, in terms of deliverables, in terms of quality, and is a lopsided value proposition and makes people say, I'd be a knucklehead, I'd be an idiot not to take advantage of this offer, right? That's ultimately what you're looking for. And, it's interesting because, like I said, most marketers rush this. Most marketers give this, I would be shocked if 9 out of 10 marketers spent more than 30 minutes thinking about their offer, thinking about what they could add to it to spice it up, what they can include in it that would drive prospects wild, what they can add to it to make it just a crazy value, a crazy offer that's just a no-brainer. How could they eliminate any fear, eliminate any risk, eliminate all hesitation, right? How can they truly make it irresistible, where I'd be an idiot to pass up on this, right? I question, right? If I was a betting man, I would say 9 out of 10 marketers don't spend more than 30 minutes, right? But the reality is that this is more important than your copy. Think about how long you spend on copy if you write it yourself, or if you invest money in paying somebody to write your copy, how much money you lay out to write the copy. Yet the offer is more important than the copy. A powerful offer will overcome weak copy, but powerful copy will never overcome a crap offer, right? And so the big idea I put before the offer, because nobody will even pay attention, hear the offer, get to the offer, even listen to what you have to say, right? Without a compelling idea that you are bringing to them. So very quickly, and we don't need to spend much time on this, just to expand your thinking a little bit, right? There are 11 different types of offers. There's the plain Jane hard offer, pay me up front. Right? There's a soft offer, pay later. There's the negative option offer, which is continuity. You got to opt out of it. There's the installment offer, which is a payment plan. There's the charter offer, which is an early one-time discount. You get in early and you're going to save. The exclusive offer, which is an offer based on being part of a segment of your database. There's the limited offer, right? Which is a scarcity driven offer. There's the limited time offer. Limited offer is there are 50 books, go get one. Limited time offer, which is a deadline driven offer, right? There's a one-time offer. You're only going to see it once. Qualified offer. You got to apply. There's the combination offer, which is a combination of more than two. You could have a limited time offer plus a limited offer plus an application. Right? I'm only accepting 10 people, and the offer closes down on this date, and you got to fill out an application in order to do it, right? And you could even do right, if you are one of the first 5 of the 10, you also get X. You see how you could combine these to create a more powerful offer. Now you want to do some exhaustive offer competitive intelligence, right? So that you understand, right? You can't create a superior offer unless you know what your competitors are offering, right? And the type of offer. So look at what your competitors' features are of their offers. What's the actual, the features are obviously the facts about the product, the thing that the product, does it come with CDs? Does it come with DVDs? Does it come with online videos? Does it come with a manual? Does it come with cheat sheets? Does it come with, X? So what is the actual deliverables that prospects are getting? What are the benefits that your competitors are claiming? What are the pricing and terms, right? So what's the price point? Is there a discount? And what are the terms? Do people pay up front? Do people pay half up front? What are the guarantees, the premiums? And what is the actual offer type? Like I said, is it, a limited time? Is it, what is it? Now, the 6 components of the offer that you need to focus on when thinking about creating an irresistible offer is, number 1, the deliverables, right? That's when I say product, I mean the deliverables. What are the pieces of the product that they get? What can you add into the product to make it better? What can you take out of the product to simplify it and make it easier? The premiums, which are the bonuses, right? I like to try to create premiums and include premiums that are worth more in value than the cost of the entire program. right? And so what are the premiums that you're offering? What are the premiums that your prospect is going to go wild over, right? That they would buy if it was a standalone product in and of itself, right? The pricing, right? What's the pricing element of the offer and the terms, right? So I'll tell you right off the bat that and we don't do this nearly as often as we probably should, but a soft offer will outpull a hard offer, right? Because less risk, right? It's why Gary Halbert built his entire business off of the back primarily of soft offers. Same with Eugene Schwartz, right? And by default, often so did Clayton Makepeace on a lot of the projects that he worked on, right? Soft offer is just pay me later. Most marketers are not willing to do that because they're afraid that their product doesn't deliver the goods, right? And they're afraid that people aren't going to be happy with the product, and so they're going to refund. The reality is that a percentage will, but when you make a good superior, irresistible soft offer, you will bump response more than you will increase refunds. And so format and delivery. The core elements of your offer, I just want to go through this quick. Features, right? What actually, comes with the product. Oh, this is huge, right? So this I actually learned. This I was taught by Clayton Makepeace. And so Clayton Makepeace, this is awesome. Pay attention to this, okay? So when you're giving the benefits of your product, now we're talking about your product, right? Because we're talking about the offer. So we're talking about selling. So a feature is nothing more than a fact about your product, right? It comes with CDs. It comes with X, right? It comes with a transcript. That's a feature. We already know, you guys know already, right? People buy because of the benefits, right? What's in it for them? How is it going to change their life? Well, there's 3 different type of benefits that you want to share. The F stands for functional. That's like, so that is like, this printer has XYZ. This printer doesn't use ink. It uses whatever, ribbon technology, right? And so what that means for you is that you won't have to replace the ink, right? So you won't have to replace the ink. That is a functional benefit. D stands for dimensionalized benefit. That is simply, what does that benefit look like in the real life of your prospect? In this example, that's like, so never again do you have to lug over to Staples or Office Max or Office Depot and flip $80 for another ink cartridge. Instead, you'll be printing 100 copies, 1,000 copies, 10,000 copies a month, and your ink will never run out and you never have to change it, right? E stands for emotional benefits, right? So now you don't have to worry about running out of ink in the middle of a large project, in the middle of printing something, and you could get excited knowing that at any time you'll be able to jump in and print any size project without ever worrying about it running out of ink midway through. Functional, dimensionalized, emotional. Then there is the value proposition, premiums, risk reversal, instant gratification component. This is one, like risk reversal is the guarantee. Premiums are the bonuses. This is really you, right, establishing the value of what it is that they are getting. Like, this is worth X and you're getting it for, A, right? That's the establishing the value proposition. Just trying to go quick through this. Value establishment. Let me explain this real quick. So there are several ways to establish the value of what it is that you're offering. But one of the things that I want you to understand, I see this all the time, okay? And this in and of itself will change the game for you, okay? So one of the things that you want to do is you want to establish a value frame in the mind of, hang on one second, can you... in the mind of your prospect for the offer before you show them the price, before you make the offer, like before you actually show them the price, right? You want to create a frame. So like, in other words, don't think just because just because you present something as $19 that they're going to see it as an unbelievable bargain, right? You want to create a frame for the value. So you can say, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. It is a $399 dollar value, right? That's one way of establishing the value. Another way is to talk about what it took you to actually create, design, come up with whatever it is that you came up with. Right? So if you were selling a physical product, for example, you could talk about or a piece of software, right? That it took 5,000 man hours, right? It took me working with a tech team from Russia and India and having, weeks of 18-hour days, structuring this, doing this, hiring people, firing people, blah, 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 running a beta test, an alpha test with a group, a beta test with a group, all to come up with this software package. And that's why that you can see that at $399 it's a great deal, but you're not going to pay $399 today, right? So you are establishing the value of the offer before you present it to them, not simply expecting them to see the value. Then when you give a value, you're giving a reason why. Right? You always got to give a reason why for the offer. When you show the value and then you show what it is that they're actually going to pay, why? Why are you giving this report away for $7? Why are you selling this thing for $49 when you said it's worth $199 or $299, whatever it's really worth? Why? Is it because it's a charter offer? It's a special offer for good customers, the segment? Is it because you want testimonials or case studies? Is it because you want to beta test it? Is it because you want to generate buzz in the marketplace? Is it because you want feedback and case studies to do a huge launch later on? What is the reason why? Of course, there's also a deadline and a reason to respond now. And there you go. There you have it. We just finished after 2 hours and 28 minutes. What I believe is the most valuable thing that I could teach you and give you as it relates to engineering a high conversion marketing funnel. Now, I want to go through. So let's see if there's any. Yes, you're absolutely right, Don. Mike Palmer. And I spoke to Mike about that at the Titans event, and we spoke about the big idea, and yeah, just unbelievable how, right, the idea, not the copywriting skills, right? You asked Mike, was it his copywriting chops that just got that much better? Nope, wasn't. It was the idea that was just perfect at the time. And so awesome. So Mark said, amazing. Todd, light bulbs are going off. Nikolai said, Todd, that clears things up. The visualization you're doing definitely helps a lot. Yep. David, Agora equals genius. Yes. Tim, claim plus proof equals belief. Claim plus proof, belief. Seems like, yes, it does. Absolutely. Very cool. I love it. I'm going to mind map it. Carlos said, Russell said, this is crap. You are a genius. I wish I was. I probably would be infinitely more successful. All right, let's keep cruising. Okay. 30 minutes tops and we're out of here. So let me see how fast I can go through this. So now, right. So this is, again, so I mentioned earlier at the very beginning. So I want you to understand before we're done tonight, I want you to understand how you begin to look at a funnel, a marketing process, a website for the smartifying process. So none of what it is that I'm going to tell you about marketing intelligence and the smartifying process takes away from anything that I showed you, right? Everything that I'm about to kind of help you to understand tonight, and then everything we're going to do in the next 3 sessions is all built on top of what it is that I just taught you, okay? So I want you to understand that. I want you to get that. So let's start by going through the 12 main smartifying tactics that we're going to be focusing on in the rest of this program. So a couple of these you already know. So for time purposes, I don't have to go too deep into these. One is we're going to talk about the intelligent lead capture page, right? And how to leverage different traffic sources coming to your lead capture page, the first page in your funnel, to increase your conversion rate by leveraging any association and credibility profitability that can be associated with the source. So one of the things that you're going to see is that anytime you're working with partners or affiliates, we're going to leverage a quote unquote endorsement from them, as I showed you in the video series on the page, because you will always see a bump in opt-in conversion when there is at least at a bare minimum, the implied endorsement from a partner. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, right? How to use the intelligence on that page. That's one of the smartifying tactics. We're going to talk about on-the-fly segmentation, right? And I think if he's still on here, Chris Cole is he's brilliant at doing this with specifically with Infusionsoft. But on-the-fly segmentation is really all about identifying let's say more than one segment that you would like to communicate with differently, and on the fly automatically driving them down two different paths. So this is and can be done as simple as, let's say for example, we had, let's just say for example, to keep things real simple for time purposes, we have an opt-in form and there is a radio button that is men and women, right? And we want to communicate, and this is about relationships, right? Well, being able to take men down one funnel path and being able to take women down another funnel path right on the fly, right from the opt-in, right? And being able to do that at any point that we want. So being able to change their path based on data collection and doing it right on the fly. The next one, which is very similar, is progressive segmentation. And some of these are really advanced. And so we're gonna, you're gonna see it though, and you're gonna learn it. But like I said, I said throughout the video series leading up to the program that this wasn't for the newbie marketer. Progressive segmentation is really just about like our ability to segment as we get further and further in the funnel. Right? So to have deeper segments. So see, for example, let's say you were marketing one product and you only had one product. You had one software product, or you have one service, and that's it. That's all you have, right? So you now have the ability to segment, right? Over here, create a sub-segment, right? So you can see how this is, let's call this segment A and segment B. Now we have segment A1 and we have segment A2. We have segment B1 and we have segment B2, right? So if I was selling one particular product, I would go real deep into the segmentation because I would have a message for them, a message for them, a message for them, and a message for them, right? What I want you to understand, and let me say this, let me share this with you, right? And it was really my buddy Rich Sheffrin again who really drove this home to me. And that's why it was kind of like I said to him, when I was thinking about sharing these strategies and tactics, the things that we've been testing and the things that we've been testing with clients and funnels in terms of marketing intelligence and smart funnels. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, I'm like, it's it's going to seem hard to a lot of marketers to come up with like, how do I come up with this path? And how do I come up with this path? Like, how do I come up with this path? And Rich said something that I just thought was so dead on. And it was really the thing that put me over the edge. He said it's infinitely harder to try to structure one marketing funnel message to appeal to all of these different individuals, right? Might be quicker to develop one message, but it's infinitely harder to try to develop one message that appeals to segment B1, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. It's infinitely easier to be able to pinpoint, target, and create a message for this segment that's totally dialed. Right? That's infinitely easier than trying to create one message that appeals to all of these segments. And so you'll see that. We already talked about the dynamic VSL, being able to create an interaction, being able to use surveys, being able to use questions, and then being able to dynamically respond to those different answers and those different paths in a single VSL. And then being able to see all of the analytics, the drill down analytics afterwards of what each path produced, of how much money each path produced, of what is the best segment from a demographic, psychographic perspective. What is the best traffic source through those different paths in your dynamic VSL? And so that's going to be a tool. We're gonna use, as you already know, behavioral triggered email sequencing. You're gonna learn conditional content. So conditional content is tied in with behavioral triggered email sequencing, but it's different because behavioral triggered email sequencing, and this is the thing people have asked me. This is the thing that Frank Kern was, and probably is, I think, still talking about and selling. He was selling 8 pre-done Infusionsoft campaigns that really come preloaded with behavioral triggered email sequencing, right? No doubt, worth the $15K or whatever it is for the 8 campaigns if he created all the copy and whatnot, but it wasn't leveraging any of the other intelligence. It was leveraging this. This is about being able to send specific email sequences to specific prospects based on an action or lack of action, right? So if you have a 4-part video sequence, being able to send specific videos to continue to drive that engagement. Well, their conditional content works with this because what I'm going to show you also how to do is to display content and to include certain content in your funnel that is only displayed to certain prospects based on an action or an inaction, right? So in other words, like let's say being able to send a different video to the prospects that have lost engagement about, let's say how great the next video is in the sequence and how the video brings it together, right? Or being able to display testimonials on the sidebar of of your blog, being able to send them to a blog post if they lost engagement in the sequence, right? In the funnel that sends them back to pick up where they left off, and that we've got a testimonial or a case study or endorsement from somebody who watched that third video, let's just say, and is blown away by that, right? So that's conditional content. It's content that is included based on a specific condition. You already know about dynamic offer stacking, right? Being able to send somebody back and add in a bonus, add in a discount, add in a payment plan, etc. You already know about internal funnel retargeting, right? I'm going to show you, you're going to learn how to follow people around your website with specific content, with specific offers, and how to progressively increase those offers over time, right? So you understand, I'm sharing this with you here again in this context because I want you to understand the foundations of the way the smart technology, what it can do for you and how it can be layered on top of an existing funnel, right? So when we get into the actual tactical steps of the funnel, how you lay this content on top. External funnel retargeting, which is, it coincides with internal. This is our ability to follow people around the internet, right, with ads that are specific to where they are at in your funnel to keep them flowing through, right? So these are coordinated. There would be the same type of internal ads doing the same thing as the external ads are doing, all designed to increase consumption of your funnel. We're going to talk about on-page personalization, right? So this has been around for a long time, it was funny because on a webinar that I did with Rich the other day, he talked about the impact that this had on his business years ago, right? So on-page personalization means that we can personalize a web page with any information that we have that we can include in the URL, right? So what most people think about when they think about this is their name, right? And so certainly we can do that, but you can do a lot of other things. So if I'm making an offer that is specific for, let's say, maybe particular clients, I can have the headline say, special offer for XYZ clients. But if my ABC clients come over to the page, it'll say special offer for ABC clients, right? And I'm saying that if I wanted to do a special offer for each of these, but so we could have the logo of this program on the page. We could have the logo of this program on this page. We could have a testimonial from an individual in this program on the page about the new offer. But on this page, we could have a testimonial from somebody in this program, right? So on-page personalization and customization. Just think about the things that you can do. Then we've got conditional contextual content, and that's similar to conditional content, only it's contextual on your blog, right? So meaning that it is, let's say, let's say a blog or an article about a particular topic, that has a specific opt-in related to that topic for a product related to that there, but on a post of a different topic, it would have something different, right? And the ability to have, let's say, a specific testimonial about a product, a banner about a product, not just an opt-in in there. The ability to have, instead of the opt-in, a banner on this particular post, when somebody's already opted in. So if they've already opted in, they don't see the opt-in, they see the banner, right? But if they haven't opted in, they see the opt-in. So you see how it adapts, and it does it contextually based on where the prospect is at. Now, I want to cover for you guys, as promised, the Smart Funnel Formula matrix. And so let me see here. Let me do this. Let me put this link in, and this will be inside your training portal. Tomorrow. But if you want it right now, I think it goes in here. I sent it to everybody. And okay. And so that'll allow you to download the matrix. This is what the matrix looks like. Looks like. And I just want to cover this very quickly for you now, but I want to use a blown up version. So hang on one second. Yeah. Because I want to quickly explain to you so you can understand this, how this thing works. So, excuse me. So number one, when we take an existing funnel and before we apply any kind of intelligence, so what you can see, well, let me say this. So before we apply any intelligence, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to pinpoint the constraint in the funnel. The constraint is the one underperforming, or the most underperforming component in the funnel. Now, I'm going to teach you something of enormous value in just 1 second. We need to identify, like I said, the constraint. The way I want you to think about it is, I want you to think about it as a chain, right? So you've got a chain with links, right? On every chain, there is always one weakest link. And the strength of the chain is determined not by the strongest link. Like this might be the strongest link of the chain, right? And it can withstand 1,500 pounds of pressure or whatever. Well, every chain, the strength is determined by the weakest link, right? Doesn't matter how strong the strongest link is or the second strongest link is. The chain will only be able to withstand the pressure that the weakest link can withstand. And so if you want to strengthen this chain, you've got to identify what is the weakest link. Because if we make this link stronger, we pad this link and we make it stronger, doesn't matter. The link is the chain is only as strong as this link right here. If we pad this one, we focus on this and we make this one stronger, we tape it up, doesn't matter. The strength of the chain is still determined by the weakest link. So the only way to strengthen a chain is to identify the weakest link and then go to work on turning that, padding that. Now, once you do that, right, you'll identify there'll be another weak link. But what happens is, as you identify the weak link and then strengthen it, the overall strength of the chain goes up and up and up. Right? See, if you want to strengthen a chain and really strengthen it over time, you find the weakest link, you strengthen it. Then then that's no longer the weakest link. Then there's another link that's the weakest. You identify that, you strengthen that, and you continue to go back. Right? You continue to go back through strengthening the chains strengthening the links, and then over time, the entire chain is much stronger. Well, I want you to think about your funnel like this chain, and I want you to think of the constraint in your funnel like this weakest link over here. And so when we optimize a funnel and we apply intelligence to get better results from the funnel, like this is what we do right away, okay? So I'm not talking about intelligence just to the entire funnel. I'm talking about the very first thing that we do with a funnel, a static funnel to bump performance is we identify the constraint. Now look, when you are identifying the constraint to apply intelligence, which is really what I call smart optimization, right? It's smartifying, but it's smart optimization, right? We're optimizing it, but we're doing it with by applying intelligence. Now, when you are optimizing a funnel, when you're thinking about where are you going to put this intelligence, like where is the spot to begin to put this, the thing that I want you to understand is that these are the metrics that we use. See, the thing to grasp is that most marketers look at these metrics and think like these metrics tell you how good a funnel is doing, right? Like my opt-in rate's 50% or 60%, I'm killing it. Or my sales conversion rate is 10%, I'm killing it. Or my order form abandon rate is 5%, I'm killing it, right? My upsell take rate, we got, 80% of customers are taking it. None of these metrics here tell you how viable your funnel is. None of them, right? Because your opt-in rate could be 50% and you could be making no money. Your sales conversion rate can be 15% and you could be losing money. Your order form abandonment rate could be 2% and you could be getting clobbered on your funnel. Your upsell take rate could be 80% and your funnel still might not break even, right? The thing that counts when it comes to the viability of a funnel is ROI, is you put in $1, how much do you get back? Frankly, I'll tell you, because you guys are higher level marketers, and so I'll just share with you a little bit that I don't even care what these numbers are if my ROI is there. If I'm breaking even on a campaign, I could have a 10% opt-in rate, a 1% sales conversion rate, a 40% order form abandonment rate, and a 20% or 15% upsell take rate. I don't care. I make money on this. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go in and optimize it to get better results, but just because those numbers are low doesn't mean that I'm going to dump the funnel. I base the viability of the funnel, as you need to do, based on ROI. How much did it cost me to drive a visitor, and how much is a visitor worth to me? That's what I care about. That's the only thing that you can take to the bank. You could have a 50% opt-in rate and be losing money, so who cares? Right? I had a client once who came to me and he had a 50% opt-in rate. And he said to me, I'm cool, with changing anything. I don't really want to change the opt-in page. And I said, why? He said, well, because it's getting me like a 52% opt-in rate. I said, well, how many of those people are converting into sales? He said, well, none right now. I said, well, then what do you care what the opt-in rate is? I said, what if I told you that you'd make money, but your opt-in rate would be 10%? Would you be willing to do it? Well, of course you should be willing to do it, because we're not in this business to generate opt-ins. We're in this business to generate ROI. Your life is transformed from ROI, not opt-in rate. Your life is transformed from ROI, not how much your sales conversion rate is, right? Because look, if you're selling a $5 product and it costs you $3 to generate a lead, I don't care what your conversion rate is, right? Relatively, you're losing money. Right? So you could be posting, like it drives me crazy when I see people posting on Facebook like, man, we got, our opt-in rate 60% and we're paying 10 cents per click. Who cares what you're paying per click? Tell me what you're earning per click, right? Because what if you're paying 10 cents a click, but you're earning 7 cents a click? Is that still exciting? The answer is no. And that's why your ROI is the only thing that matters to you. But when it comes to optimization, these are the numbers that we use. And so how do we use these numbers? We use these numbers to identify the constraint. These are the 4 main numbers that I look at when I look at optimizing, when I begin to optimize a marketing funnel, right? And so what you start with is you start by identifying the constraint. Which of these is operating at a level that if we increased it, would have the biggest impact on our ROI, right? So in other words, what that means is, let's say you have a 35% opt-in rate, you have a 5% sales conversion rate. Like, let's say, meaning 5%, of the people. Let's say, actually, let's just, to make it really clear, you have 8% of people that click on the add to cart button, right? And you have an 85% abandonment rate, and you have a 45% upsell take rate. Well, it should be really clear. It should be really clear which one of these is the constraint. Meaning that here's the answer, right? That if we go to work on the upsell take rate, is that going to fix this funnel? No. That's like, should we be testing and trying to optimize the opt-in page right now with new headlines, a new color button, or whatever, crazy latest whiz-bang thing people are focusing on? The answer is no, because that's not the constraint. Increasing this from 35 to 40% isn't going to fix the funnel. This is going to fix the funnel, right? This is the constraint. So then we go to work when optimizing using these elements right here. This is where we begin to lower the abandonment rate, right? Lower our abandonment rate, more completions, right? This is the type, right? Dynamic offer stacking on the order form, right? External and internal funnel retargeting for order form abandonment rate, right? The abandonment follow-up sequence being triggered, right? These are some of the main things that we use right away, right? These are some of the main intelligence, I should say, elements that we use right away. Now look, let me say this, that let's say your opt-in rate was 50%, your abandonment rate was 20%, your upsell take rate was still, 40%, but your sales conversion rate was 0.5%, right? Now look, let me ask you something. How much of a difference is it going to make if we go to work trying to optimize this, right? If we're like, let's get this up to 60%. Let's create a different upsell offer, right? Or let's try to get order form abandonment rate down, or let's get the opt-in rate up more. No. This right here is the constraint. And that's why I said that working on this isn't going to do anything. I shouldn't say do anything. It's not going to fix the problem, right? Working on this isn't going to fix it. Working on this isn't going to, this is going to fix the problem. Right? And so this is how we begin when looking at an existing marketing funnel from an optimization, a smart optimization perspective. And over here, you can review and see the different intelligence tactics that I'm going to show you begin to show you next week, how to implement, right? These are the main intelligence tactics that you begin to implement. So now you can go back to your funnel after tonight, right? And you can begin to pinpoint the constraint in the funnel. And then you can begin to look at and think about the different intelligence tactics that you're going to be able to use. And then next week, you're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to get prepared next week to learn how to do it. And then you'll be prepared to go back in and actually implement it in. Now, the bottom part of the matrix is really just for general overall site and funnel performance. So this is when the top of the matrix is when you are optimizing, you're using smart optimization to take a funnel, an underperforming funnel, to identify the constraint and then apply intelligence. The bottom part of the matrix is related to the specific intelligence tactics that we use, that we focus on for these specific areas of a site, of a business. Like, so this is to let's say, for example, we want to smartify lead acquisition, meaning we see that the business is just, the lead flow is terrible, right? And so these are the intelligence tactics that we apply to smartify lead acquisition. These are the intelligence tactics that we apply to smartify sales conversions. You're going to learn these, you're going to learn these things, right? Like, you're going to start to learn them next week, right? Contextual sales offers. And we already talked about external and internal funnel retargeting, dynamic offer stacking, right? Sidebar banners. I'm going to show you how to do this. Sidebar social proof, right? To increase sales conversions. This is to smartify lead value, right? This is really what I mean by this is, I should rename this. I should rename this internally. This is really to increase transaction value, or that's really what it is. It's to smartify transaction value, right? And so these are the intelligence tactics that we use to increase the value of a customer in that one transaction. Right? In that one transaction. This section is how we increase the value of customers over time. Right? So this is, if we want to focus, right? This is the first part of the front end, right? This is after any transaction. This is more of a back end thing, and this is both front end and back end, because we're talking about increasing conversions on the front end with new customers and increasing conversions on offers on the back end. Purely front end and back end. This is transaction value, so this could really also be front end and back end, even though it's more front end, which you'll learn, you're going to see. And this is back end. So you're going to want to print that out, review that, begin to identify the constraint in whatever current funnel that you have. This is the process that I use every time we go into optimization mode when we're testing a funnel, right? I start by looking at ROI, and then when if the ROI is okay, right, then I'll look at opt-in rate. I'll look at these. I'll analyze which one is the constraint, and then when we're smartifying a funnel, we'll go in here. And oftentimes, we're gonna get into this in the next couple of weeks, but we won't start with all of these intelligence pieces. We'll start with one intelligence piece at a time, so we can identify which one contributed to the bump. Right? Like, in other words, you don't want to go in and apply intelligence, these four things, and then you have no idea which one contributed, right? And ultimately, like, look, the reality is I want to apply the least new intelligence that we can to bump conversion, right? To bump conversion at each of these stages. I don't want to go in and go hog wild and apply 12 different things. I want to apply one at a time and see what the bump in conversion is, and is it sufficient? And so let me now go back to 1 second. Okay. So the tools, I got to check my phone. My phone was going off. I'm not sure if my phone was going off with text messages to let me know about your tools. But so you should, if not tonight, I'm sure tomorrow you should get them, even though I wasn't going to give you the tools right away, because I don't want you to go in and get enamored with the tools. I don't want you to go in and get enamored and get overwhelmed. I want you to give me the opportunity to show you, but I'm going to give them to you anyway, and trust that you are mature enough to wait until we get to to next week to start playing with the tools and learning how to implement. But just so you know, because people have asked, the first tool is a version of Dynamic VSL from Rob Jones. Wait until you see this thing. This thing is going to knock your freaking socks off. The version that you guys are getting is not even publicly available. The annual, you guys, I bought for you guys a lifetime license to this thing. Rob is going to be selling, when he makes it publicly available, for $397 that I bought for you guys. The other one is a tool that I've been using for months now that's called Visitor Logic Pro. And I'm going to show you how to freaking use this thing to do some incredible things. Mike Filsame and Andy Jenkins just used this tool in their launch of Webinar Jam Studio. And I'm going to show you how to do some insane stuff. So keep your eye out for an email either later or tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to certainly get an email with a link to the training portal to log in. The portal will have your schedule in there. It'll have the recording of this video. It'll have the slides for you to download. And that's going to be the portal where all of your bonus trainings, the GTS training, all of your intelligence blueprints are going to go. And you'll get your intelligence blueprints at the end of week 3, just because they won't make any sense to you right now. But that's all she wrote for tonight. I'm going to go to crash my man, my throat is crazy. I am actually off to. I'll leave you with this. Oh man, that's awesome, Carlos. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, man, wow, you guys are awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm actually off tomorrow to Vegas. I'll be speaking. I'm going really early because I have a Q&A call in the afternoon that I want to do, but I'll be presenting at the Oceans 4 Mastermind for Ryan Levesque and Ben Settle, Andre Chaperon, and Jack Bourne. And so I'm sure I'll have some crazy tales to tell you next week. But excuse me. We'll be getting into pricing strategies we'll be getting a little bit into pricing strategies next session, and then we'll really be getting heavily into pricing strategies in session 4. And yeah, what an awesome, that is quite a crew. You're absolutely correct. That's a ferocious, and so much of a crew that the guys from Agora Financial actually pay to be in attendance at that event, at that mastermind meeting. So yeah, like it's pretty crazy. And so there you go. Just session 1. I told you guys and gals that I would deliver the goods, and we're just getting started. Wait until you have no idea what I have in store for you. And so at the end of this, my ambition is to create an army of marketers that go out and just crush it. And when people ask, my gosh, like where did you get this from? You guys will be able to point back to this group and this experience. And so, I'm extremely excited. And I'll leave you with one other thing, just for the heck of it, so you can get even more excited. I don't know if I'll deliver this program in an evergreen fashion. I don't really know. I have not decided yet, honestly, if at the end of this, if we will do anything with this program. And so you guys may be the only group that ever gets this content and this training and this program like this. I don't know. And so, but just get excited. Well, Chatty, I wish you would have told me that before. Chatty said it should be a $5,000 program. I'm just kidding. Go have a great night, everybody. Again, I'm stoked. I'm jacked. And so, keep your eye out for a bunch of emails over the next 24 hours or so. Now you're going to begin to get a lot more contacts from us about this program. So look for the subject line at the beginning of every subject line. You're going to see it's going to say Smart Funnel Formula. You want to make sure that you open all of those. And sometimes they'll just be updates. Sometimes there'll be reminders. Sometimes there'll be additional bonus things that you don't even know about that are coming. But it's coming, and we're on our way now. And so have a great night, guys and gals. We're going to keep the links private other than their developers. Yeah, for sure. Like that goes without a doubt. Like Tim said, keep the links private. Like if we find out that anybody shared a link, you will be booted from the program. So I said at the very beginning that you can have your developer, your webmaster come on here. You could bring one other guest with you on here, not another marketer. They've got to be internal in your program, in your company that works with you on the development of this. But for sure, that goes without saying, Tim. And thank you you will be booted from the program without discussion, without question, without hesitation. If I find out that anybody is being so disrespectful to the rest of the people on this program that paid a lot of money to be here, and to me, who is putting my heart and soul into this for you guys and gals. So absolutely, thank you for bringing that up. And so thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the people that even mentioned how much you enjoyed the content tonight. And also thanks for all the folks saying thank you, David. Thank all is wishing me a safe trip. I'm sure I'm going to share with you a bunch of stuff. Maybe I'll even send you an update from Vegas just for the heck of it. And so thank you guys so much. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you shortly. So take care, all.